All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to MazzaMedia. We are live, ladies and gentlemen. It is May 24th, 2026. It is Memorial Day weekend. It's a weekend to remember all of the soldiers that laid down their lives for the United States of America. Without those soldiers, we would not be here, and their sacrifice was, again, the highest level of sacrifice imaginable. And we thank all our soldiers out there as well. This is an important weekend. While we have the opportunity to have an extra day off, etc., enjoy maybe a barbecue or a poolside, those soldiers laid down their lives for our country. We'll never forget them. I always think of the D-Day soldiers too. So many of them lost their lives and throughout so many wars in our country. So just we remember those soldiers this weekend. I'd also like to take a moment, just have a quick moment of silence for a fighter out of Dorchester who lost his life yesterday. Robert Kilduff Jr. Lost his life. He was a 24-year veteran of the fire department, a former Marine, and a father of two who died while fighting a 3-alarm house fire in Dorchester just last night. So we're just going to take a brief moment of silence here for that firefighter. That's what we do here on the show. So there we go, 10 seconds. All right, and just we remember him laying down his life last night, and just prayers out to his family. I'm sure that there'll probably be some GiveSendGos to be passed around online to help his family. We'll be on the lookout for that. We'll certainly help out if we have an opportunity to donate as well. So just some prayers to that firefighter. Firefighting is a big deal. It's just like police work, military work. It's a job that you can lose your life at any time. It's the highest level of sacrifice that can be made. So again, just my thoughts and prayers obviously are there, but also actions as well. So, and again, to this whole fire department, all the best to you guys as well. So thank you so much. Today we're doing Kelsey Fitzsimmons Fundraiser 16. Our guests, several of them are already lined up backstage. Some have been a part of this before. I think every single guest we've had today has been a part of that. Glamousous, just a quick footnote. We're counting $25 before that. So we're going to start it off at $188,938. I just noticed the $25 donation came in yesterday and said Mazza Fundraiser from Jane B. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to count that $25 towards this fundraiser. So Jane B leads us off. Jane B was so fired up about this fundraiser that she couldn't even wait till 6 o'clock on Sunday night. She says, you know what? I'm donating right now. So we're going to count Jane B's donation towards tonight's fundraiser. It's $25 on the board. So $1,938 will be our starting point, and we will continue on. All right. Joining the show, 4 of our guests are backstage right now from Kentucky, KY Maverick. Not that Mary B, the other Mary B is joining us. Sometimes Brit happens. And when it happens, you have to have Brit Happens on your fundraiser. And, you know, there's a guy here that has a really big opinion about the ATF. And he's going to express that in his shirt tonight. And as I'm talking, I see him laughing backstage. Love this shirt, man. We'll get that on camera in a moment. And then we have attorney Lori Mullen joining us as well. So I'm going to start to add everybody up here as we speak. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so see here. I might have to go to the left here because they got the widget there. So we got the, I guess I'll be the one to have my head space behind the whole logo here tonight. I'm always looking for someone that has maybe the most like right-sided headroom and put them in that upper left-hand corner. But Britt, you're the opposite of that. So you're not going in the corner. So actually, Mary B might actually, I think.
Here, let me mirror it.
Exactly.
Let me mirror it.
That works. I think you're the one that showed me how to do that widget a couple weeks ago.
Oh, no, I am mirrored. I can't tell I'm mirrored.
Perfect. You got the perfect headspace to be near the widget in the upper left-hand corner.
Perfect head shape.
Exactly. Yep, you got your head off to the side here, so we're good. Awesome. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here tonight with me. Brit Happens is here, of course, once again. Was on Law Girls Not Attorneys earlier today with a new background. The glares of this awesome background, fantastic. And Lori, I like your Buffalo background too. It's awesome stuff. So.
And this is the maiden voice.
That is awesome.
For my new camera. So we're not. Hold on.
Unless that's a bison. Is that
Okay,
actually a
something
bison,
to get
Lauren?
off.
I believe it's a buffalo. I think you were right the first time.
Okay.
But yeah,
All right,
we can say adios to the GoPro. The GoPro's
Either way, it's
gone.
cool.
Yeah, the picture quality looks much better now for you, Fred.
Yeah, you look
Fuck.
great. Pretty as
Yeah.
always.
Oh, Mary, what you doing later?
Girl.
Excellent. All right. So we Tuesday, Kelsey Fitzsimmons returns to family court. There's more going on there. And basically, there were some questions asked online. Like some people were asking, why are we still doing fundraisers for Kelsey Fitzsimmons? The trial's over. These are fair questions. These are not people asking these questions to be rude or mean in any way. These are people asking out of curiosity, like, what's the purpose? And still doing a fundraiser for Kelsey Fitzsimmons. I will tell you why we're still doing these fundraisers. No, I was kidding. We are still doing this because you want to know why? Do you want to know why?
A little
Let me tell
aggressive, Mazza.
Brother.
Mazza's spicy tonight.
Exactly. We got, the purposes of this is family court. Kelsey is spending a lot of money for just a lot of that's related to that, obviously legally, but then also the visitations are not, they're not costing the amount of money it costs you to get a bag of chips and a soda at your local convenience store while you're getting gas. And Emily C. also joining us as well.
Hey, darling.
Sorry I'm late.
Perfect. That's it.
Hi.
Hello, Em.
How's it going? What'd I miss?
Good.
The introduction. We're explaining why we're actually doing this fundraiser still. So that was just some questions came up about it as well. Exactly. So, again, it's because of family court, obviously, is one of the reasons. And again, visitation with her son, that's costing money as well. And it's not, like I said, it's not for the price of a bag of Cheetos and Sprite at your local fuel up station where you're getting your gas. That's maybe not to be funny, but it's maybe to be animated at least. But it's a lot of money. And additionally, civil suits are coming here. We can always obviously bet your bottom dollar, if not guarantee, that's going to be happening. And this is going to be a story that's going to be here for a while. And just anyone that can donate tonight, we thank you so much for that. Any contribution you can make to Kelsey, that would be fantastic. And we're just going to continue to do what we do best, which is have shows every so often. Lori messaged me the other day and she said, Mazza, and I said, yes. She goes, don't think I haven't noticed you haven't done a fundraiser in nearly a month. I said, Lori, why are you going to be so mean? And she says,
Well, you know what, Mazza? One of the things I just wanted to mention, I wanted to mention just from experience, because you raised the visitation, supervised visitation issue. And I don't think people understand how much that really does cost, especially because Kelsey has a licensed social worker that was court ordered doing the supervision. Her name is Gian Tinney, and she actually is quite a distance away from Kelsey. So she's charging travel time, I assume, because they generally do. And you're looking at somewhere between $200 to $300 per hour for the visitation. And if you add on the travel time to that, if we average that, and this is just from my experience, if you average that to 250, these visits, weekend visitations costing her $3,000. So,
oh my God.
Yeah, it's a lot. So, everyone was like, well, she should have had visitation every week and whatnot, which Kelsey would love to do that. But think about that from an expense standpoint too. I mean, if she was doing the same visitation all month like that, it would be costing her 12 to 15 grand a month just to see her child. So it's a lot.
I have a personal disdain. Like if I didn't know and like Lori already, I would hate her simply because she's a family court. She's a family attorney. Like there's
Fair.
They're so expensive. They're so expensive.
We're worth it.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm totally kidding. I'm joking around.
I know.
But,
I got you.
But I mean, yeah, it's such an expensive process. Like all of that stuff. Like they know you need it. They know you're going to do it, and you have no choice. If you want to have a part of your child's life you have to do this stuff, and you have to pay through the nose. It's expensive. So
And Julie Hess, I mean, it's pretty clear how high caliber of an advocate she is for Kelsey. So I'm sure that's no small bill.
No, it's because it's not just the advocacy, it's the drafting of every single time they go into court and we see these like 35-page verified motions and affidavits and whatnot. The amount of hours that go into something like that, it's mind-boggling. I mean, really. So if you're spending a majority of your time on one case, well, guess what? That case has to pay your entire office staff to keep going, you know? And that's basically, you know, this does take up a lot of her time.
The person supervising her.
My attorney charged me $75 per email, sent or received $75 per email.
That sounds reasonable to me.
That's right. Yeah, I bet it does. Not to me.
Don't push it, Lori. He just said he likes
Not to me. I'm just,
the
yeah,
person
like it's
supervising
expensive.
Kelsey, the one who's supervising Kelsey probably loves this role though, because think about like what they normally see, and now they have this like doting mother who's been like dying to see her son and is just having this like beautiful, meaningful time together. Like their notes are probably like, I'm taking notes for my own family.
Yeah.
Right.
And the
It
visits
also
are going
shows
great,
you
so.
where somebody else in this equation's priorities are, because that's $3,000 a visit that could be going to like Caidyn's college fund if they let off on some of the restrictions that they're putting on Kelsey right now. That's $3,000 that could be going to signing him up for T-ball and hockey and like whatever like parents spend thousands and thousands of dollars for their kids on. It's like, that's not, you really just want to keep pushing this. Okay, cool.
Yeah. And not to mention, you could have, what it's doing to him, to the baby, like it's not easy for a kid to have to say, okay, first to go to some facility and then to be like, all right, mom's got to go. And isn't there an option? It could have been an option for the visits to be supervised by her mother.
That definitely was something that was discussed at the court date, and that I think it may evolve into that. But just to clear that up, Mary, the visitations are actually happening at maternal grandmother's house, so she isn't going to a facility.
Oh, good. I'm sorry.
Oh,
behind.
I realized
Yeah,
that.
that's
That's
Yeah,
nice.
good.
Yes.
And right now, it's a good thing for there to be, you know, a party who is not arguably on one side or the other for the supervision. That way, whatever the reports are, you know, whether they look good for Kelsey or they don't, nobody can argue, well, this is Kelsey's mother.
That's a really good point, Britt.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to have.
And that's why I think it's going to be a step up. I mean, it's a step up reunification plan. So the initial visits, that's a big part, Britt, of why they have them supervised by an independent third party. And because that person's also very experienced in taking the notes and submitting to them to the court. I looked up her CV, and she does a lot of this type of work, and she does a lot of court appointed type of work. So she knows exactly what the court's looking for in terms of reports relative to the supervision and how the reunification has been going. So the judge is going to rely on those reports. And eventually the plan would be to step it up to either, you know, like a gradual thing where maybe we're now just having maternal grandmother supervise for a little bit until the supervision just completely goes away. So that's
Can I
basically
ask what that looks like? Like when there's somebody there, like do they interact? Like does when there's like a supervisor there, is it somebody like, are they supposed to just be like a fly on the wall, like don't pay attention to me, or is it somebody that you're like, hey, that's, you know, baby C, like say hi to so and so?
Yeah, no, I think it's a combination, right? They don't want to be too involved in what's going on because that's not really what they're there for. But you do have to have some level of kind of discourse because otherwise it's very awkward, right? Okay, there's some lady sitting in the corner over here and she's just watching us, you know. And this woman
is it a social worker?
if she is a licensed social worker. And from my understanding, she's very nice, and she definitely does a lot of this type of work. So she knows just how to play it, where I'm not in your way, but I'm here to just observe, but you guys just do yourselves and don't worry about me. And I don't think it's been too much of an issue. It's just, it's restricting and it's expensive. So it's going to need to go away at some point.
It bothers me.
That's one of the hard parts of.
It bothers me that
Go ahead, K1. Go ahead. Yeah.
he gets to see the kid anytime he wants for free. And then the mom has to pay for an arm and a leg to see the child. And what we're going to do, is it Tuesday the 26th? Or is it
Tuesday,
Wednesday?
yep.
It's Tuesday.
Tuesday, yep.
They're going to be asking for what? FaceTime, video contact, Zoom, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Who wants to bet that he opposes that? And that's just common sense. That's a chance for her to actually have FaceTime without having to pay an arm and leg to have it. And it's like he wants to drain her of all finances as she possibly can by all the way he writes his orders.
That's the move. That's definitely like, if that's what he's trying to do, if he's trying to like alienate this child from his mother, that's the move, is to drain her, make it to where
No pun intended.
Yeah,
which is why we need to donate.
Yeah.
No resources left to be able to offer the child.
We're not talking just about Kelsey's rights as a mother. We're talking about the child's right to know her his mother.
Right. Yeah.
And, and this is as much for him as it is for Kelsey. And we definitely need to pitch in any way we can to help raise the funds to get this through. I used to think this wouldn't go to trial. I'm beginning to wonder anymore. I think we'll at least see an evidentiary hearing somewhere along the way, don't you, Lori?
No.
I think we'll bypass that.
I don't think that this is something, generally speaking, we don't do evidentiary hearings in family court. You're either just going to have a trial, or you're just going to have the motions we have been having, which is representation of counsel. Obviously in restraining order hearings, it's more evidentiary, but that hearing, which is actually scheduled for July 13th, that's just to get rid of the restraining order. Basically, if there hasn't been any further issues. I mean, I don't know. People can come up with
Will
issues.
there be a hearing on the 13th? Or will that
Yeah, it's not supposed to be. It's just the only remaining provision in the restraining order is the abuse provision. So the restraining order has basically been vacated, except for the one provision that says Kelsey won't abuse Justin. So if they go to court,
that's just the law.
Yeah,
that's like being like, and I won't run a red light.
No
Write it down,
crime.
Yeah, it was just like one other thing to keep it going, Anyway, so on July 13th, if nothing has happened, which obviously it's not going to have happened. I mean, I don't think she's planning on abusing Justin between now and July 13th, or any time thereafter. So at that point, the restraining order should just be completely vacated. Now, anybody can at any time, go and apply for a restraining order if new circumstances arise that call for it. But it's interesting because that's one of the things that Julie Hess had put in this motion. It's like the restraining order is basically completely gone. There was no hearing on it. Kelsey denied all the allegations. There really aren't any specific allegations of Kelsey abusing, harming, neglecting Caidyn ever. And so all she's really asking the court is to add on some more interim type of visits, like by the FaceTime, that obviously aren't going to cost anything, right? That's going to be time that she can spend with him, and just for him to see her face and to hear her voice. They know it's not like she's going to be carrying on a conversation with him. He's 14, 15 months old. But he's old enough to recognize her face. They're old enough to sit and watch TV. They're old enough to recognize somebody's face on a computer screen and to hear her voice. And especially now that they're connected and have had, 4 visits so far. It makes a lot of sense. It's definitely something that to do in the interim that's not going to cost anything. And it's not really a big obligation of Justin's time to make sure that the child can do this.
Well,
I feel like there's also a piece of doing the FaceTimes where it's like she could just be watching him, and then it kind of forces Justin to make sure that he's doing something like engaging and like looks like he's a great parent in that moment, and it's just like an additional way for her to ensure that like he's getting what he needs when he's not with her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, there'll be a pretrial, or will it morph into something different?
Yeah. So back to your original point, I really don't think that this case will go to trial. And if it does, it's going to be a long ways off because of this reunification process. And the court's got steps that they're taking. And even though there's trial dates on the calendar, we always have that stuff put into the calendar. But if the court isn't ready or the parties aren't ready and everybody agrees, it's just going to keep getting pushed until it's actually ripe for a trial. When would it be ripe for a trial? When we're at a point of like, Justin won't agree to any kind of parenting time. The courts basically put it off and just kept adding more time. And then perhaps we need to do a full-blown trial at that point. But in these cases, that's not really the best suited thing, because by the time we get to that point, we're so far out from what originally brought us all here that do we really need to hash all that stuff out again? Do we really need to drag all that stuff back out of the mud and right into, the court and the social media and everything else all over again? We're really trying to make progress moving forward and not keep going into these things. It's really more now about the reunification, co-parenting, and that kind of stuff. So I think we'll see another hearing or two maybe. But I do think the parties should really just now start to try to work things out, because it is easier if the parties can come up with their own schedule. The courts come up with schedules sometimes that suit the court, but the parties are like, what? We can't do this schedule, So it does make sense for the parties to kind of collaborate on that and come up with something. But so this next hearing will be a lot like the last one that we saw.
Say it goes along the way you think it's going to go along. When are we looking at the point in this case where the temporary orders start becoming permanent orders?
Well, I mean, that's the thing. If it becomes a permanent order, it's going to be by agreement. So the judge won't go to judgment on it unless the parties have like stipulated agreement. A judge will go to judgment after a trial, right? So a lot of times we just, work out stipulations, and those stipulations become judgments. So that's why I said it's just going to keep getting dragged out, because it doesn't make sense until they're kind of at the final point of, in my opinion, I'm optimistic in my opinion of having full shared physical and legal custody of the child. And it's going to take a lot of the reunification plan to get there. So, you know what I mean? So it's going to be a date. This is actually a review date that's on for Tuesday. And then Julie scheduled a motion on top of that. So we're having the review and we're having the motion on Tuesday, asking for the court to add in that additional FaceTime. That's what Julie's looking for on Tuesday. The court was really just going to say, how's parenting time going? Do you have the notes from the supervisor will probably be submitted? And then maybe the judge would add on a little bit more, but she kind of already, well, this is a different judge, but the judge in the last hearing, Muniver, she already kind of planned for like the next step, which would be to add in the Wednesday night visit, which is an unsupervised visit. Okay. So the Wednesday night visit would be supervised by, well, it's supervised, but it's going to be by maternal grandmother, by Lauren Page, would be supervising Kelsey and the baby in her home. And it's like a 2-hour visit. It's kind of to add something in midweek so that there's more continuity with it. It makes a lot of sense. But now Julie's also asking to add in these FaceTimes in between, because he's still going to have this weekend of like where he doesn't see her. So you'll see like another date probably scheduled. This, let me see, this is May. There is another date already scheduled, July 15th. That's supposed to be a pretrial. It's likely they'll still call it a pretrial, but they might do it as another review date and then push off the pretrial in July as well.
It just amazes me. Go ahead, Britt.
Our dear friend, Mr. Betterow, just finished a 6-mile run. Just posted about it on Twitter. So,
wow. Go Betterow.
Way to go, Mr. Betterow.
The mighty run.
Can I
the mighty run
for a second that you just made me think of, Lori, when you were talking about like rehashing things from the trial that like was on my mind yesterday watching the Defense Diaries fundraiser for Aaron Spencer.
Mhm.
I feel like we have these cases now that are going to like a full criminal trial where the entire time we're like, you're going to be found not guilty. Like it is very clear. Like it was clear to most people from the very beginning that like there wasn't, even in a he said, she said, like there wasn't enough evidence that Kelsey was going to be convicted, and let alone like the story that was being told about her didn't actually happen. And same thing with Aaron Spencer. And I feel like what's lost in this kind of like optimism when cases go to trial, that Shuggy, my dog, is in here, is the repercussions afterwards. Sorry, like the repercussions afterwards about. Yeah, he's mad too. He's like, she's on a rant, guys. Let me out of here.
He's like, like
it really gets me fired up. Maybe he feels that, but
yeah, he's a little cheerleader.
It's like, yeah, this is great that like Kelsey was found not guilty. That was obviously the right move the whole time. But actually what should have happened is this should have never been brought to a criminal trial. Like she never should have faced charges in the first place, because she is still dealing with those repercussions. Like if this had taken like a normal approach, number one, like we wouldn't know Kelsey's name, but would they be a year into just, deciding like what was going to happen with Caidyn, and they'd be a year into negotiation and mediation and just be a year ahead of things. And, even if she had just gotten shot and then gotten released from the hospital and gotten to go home, like there's so many repercussions that she's still facing, even being found not guilty. And I just mean this as like a rant against the like criminal justice system in our state/country that we're dealing with right now, because it really doesn't feel like justice when somebody's found not guilty, even when that's the right decision.
The loss of custody and loss of parenting time will be a big part of the damages in the civil case. So just imagine the hurt.
As they should.
Especially when
what amazes me is that. Sorry, Laura, I had a question for you. What amazes me is that I'm going to ask it this way: if Kelsey had never had any criminal charges against her, there was never a shooting matter, never got shot, whatever, and simply a restraining order was placed and served that day, would she have the same type of restrictions on her family court visitations with her child as she has now?
I doubt it. Because if all that was just a service of a restraining order, and then she went back and had the 2-party hearing, based on some of the stuff in that affidavit that we now know is kind of like falsified, I don't think that the restraining order would have been continued, in which case, they would have been back to square one, which at that point, the burden would have been on Justin to even try to get shared legal and shared physical custody, because I know I've gone over this with you guys before. So pay attention this time, so I don't have to keep doing it every time I come on. No, I'm just kidding. So in the 209C action, so because Justin and Kelsey were not married, the automatic fallback is that the mother has full legal and physical custody, unless the father, that's like the presumption. And then the father has to go in and file the complaint like Justin did. He filed his complaint under 209C for custody. And, but that was after the whole shooting, after the restraining order and whatnot. So that's the normal course it would have taken. It would have been like the restraining order hearing, and then that probably would have went away to begin with. Only reason why it kept getting continued was because she never was able to show up. They had dates for her to go, and then it would be like, oh, okay, well now she's back in jail. Okay, now she was in the hospital, she couldn't do it. So, and in that meantime, Justin was able to go and kind of get an emergency order for custody, because you do have to have a parent that's available to have custody, right? So you have Kelsey fighting for her life, and this was on June 30th when she got shot. So on July 1st, Justin went over to the court and filed his complaint, and then was granted the custody under the restraining order, but then ultimately under that 209C action, And what would have happened if we didn't have the shooting or anything like that was they would have had the restraining order hearing. They probably would have worked out some shared parenting, some shared legal custody, and some parenting time for Justin. That's what would have happened.
So basically, she's still
I'm
basically
taking
suffering.
notes this time, so you don't have to scold us again.
Thank you, Emily.
So basically, she's still suffering the consequences of what happened that day, in a sense, and the advantages that were taken while she was away, obviously. And that's what makes me sick about all this, because I feel like at this particular point, just getting to my original question for you, is that basically I think the set of circumstances here in a fair and balanced world would have her basically at a joint custody level and not having to have supervised visits, not having to pay for that, not having to pay for all this here that comes with it. It seems like to me the system is failing her and making it more difficult for her. And this goes beyond her opposition. This goes beyond the other parent. I feel like there's a systematic level that's not allowing her to have the ability to kind of just have joint custody without having to go through all these extra hoops. I mean, this is a woman that already has gone through enough as it is, and still to this day, there's insult to injury, and that makes me sick.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, what if the situation with Noonan had happened, but they hadn't pressed criminal charges? Is it still the same?
She wouldn't have ended up going to jail.
That's what I mean. It's like, because I think that's where, we can't prevent every single terrible thing that happened, but it just feels like that is where the repercussions really started, that they're still able to use against her and still able to kind of hold over her head, even though she was found not guilty.
No, you're right. You're right. But yeah, definitely. What I was going to say is, one of the big things is if it wasn't like a 2-week period between the service of the restraining order and the hearing, I really do think that would have made a difference. Think about how different it would have been if they were like, it's only 48 hours, Kelsey, and then you're going to go in. But it's like, get enough stuff for him for 2 weeks. It's like, what? Are you kidding me?
Let's think about this too. So not only the 2-week waiting period that it would have been before the initial hearing, but what else has been able to have been argued is that in all that time that went by, the baby was used to having the father as the primary parent. And they're now able to say, well, time has been on our side here. He has spent now the majority of his life in the father's home. So now there needs to be a slower process with reintroduction to the mother. Where it's not just a complete shock to the system for the baby too. So that situation has, really slowed down that reintroduction phase. And the other thing that I wanted to mention was that they weren't even able to begin having hearings because Kelsey did not want to, sign any affidavits or say anything that could have been used against her in the criminal trial, which is the smart thing to do. It's very similar to what Karen Reed did with her civil cases, was to basically have everything stayed until the conclusion of criminal court to then begin that kind of stuff. So this would have turned out quite differently.
Britt, how about if we count the time differently? She carried the child for 9 months. She cared for it for the first 4 months, which the court has recognized. So let's just say Kelsey has 13 months and Justin has 11.
So I like how you think, but it doesn't seem to be the way the court's looking at it.
Well, if I can just expound on that too, Britt, because honestly, even Julie Hess knows that the way it's all going is the way it has to go. You know what I mean? She didn't go in there saying, give the baby back to my client, because she knew that was never going to happen. I mean, as a family law practitioner, and she has, well over 20 years experience too, she knows that's just not going to happen. I see that online all the time. Give Kelsey her baby back. But to your point, Britt, he has not seen Kelsey in a long time. And there is a bond, whether we know what the bond is that formed between Justin and Caidyn and his parents, Justin's parents. But the one thing we know is he hasn't really been able to see Kelsey until now. But that's what the supervision is about. That's what these notes are going to be about. How are the visits going? How comfortable is Caidyn? Not because they're afraid that Kelsey's going to do anything, but more to be able to monitor how the reunification process is going and how much more time maybe they need to kind of go slower, or maybe they can pick it up a little bit. So I definitely think, everybody expected what happened for the reunification visits to happen. Anybody that was, involved in the case, both sides. The people online and the Twitter lawyers, they didn't understand that, but I wasn't surprised by it. And it was basically Julie, I think, did a great job at that hearing and presenting it. And it is getting to the point. I mean, Kelsey's made a lot of progress from where she was. She's now seeing her child on a regular basis. It might not be as much as she wants. She would have him every single day. But she's definitely come a long way. Let's put it that way.
Can I just say, seeing Defense Diaries here in the chat, made me think I needed to say, Britt,
What's up, Bob?
the graphics that you've been making for these fundraisers are so spectacular, and just really adds an additional layer to engage people and bring in additional funding. And I appreciate you for doing that. Oh,
thank you, Emily. That actually is the effect I was going for. Was if you're not on YouTube all day, if you're more of a occasional Twitter checker, that's kind of what I was going for, and I appreciate it.
The one that had Turtle Boy's logo, but the hands up like this was my number one favorite. The super excited little turtle.
I had a lot of fun making Aiden's. If you guys didn't catch it, I don't know if you guys are familiar with his logo that involves him turning around and urinating on the Facebook and Twitter icons. I had him streaming into the goal thermometer, so it was green and he was filling it up with urine, basically turtle urine. And
why is that grosser than just saying pee?
I don't know. It came out weirder than
Turtle.
You're in trouble.
Wow.
Yes. Okay, Bob. Yes, it was originally Calvin and Hobbes. I have every single Calvin and Hobbes book. I'm a huge fan, but yeah, good catch with that.
Lori asked in the chat earlier, so what happens if Justin doesn't communicate well with Kelsey? And my thinking is it won't go well for final custody.
Yeah,
I'll probably just say he did a perfect job anyways, because everything he does.
They
is
use
perfect.
the wizard, the family wizard.
Yeah. So that's something that's coming up. Like I had told you that Julie Hess did file another motion and asking for the FaceTimes and whatnot, and asking also that Justin be required to use the Our Family Wizard app. There seemed to be a little bit of a breakdown in communication. The judge had never really ordered the use of Our Family Wizard. Both parties had talked about doing it. And I guess according to this motion that Julie filed, they did end up downloading it and they had been using it. But then according to this motion, there seemed to be a problem where Justin got mad at Kelsey and sent her, or upset with her, and sent her a message through the Our Family Wizard app saying, we're not using this anymore. We're not doing this. We're going to go through the lawyers, basically because he alleges that she posted a picture of the child on a Mother's Day post. So there's a dispute about that. Kelsey says you couldn't see his face or whatever. Also, we also know Justin's posted the child or has been seen with the child on social media posts. There isn't any restriction from the judge about posting the child on social media. So it's not like it was against a court order. But he used that to say, I'm not communicating anymore by this. Now we have to go through the lawyers. another expense, right? I mean, anytime you're going to be using the lawyers to communicate things like, the child went to the doctor today and he has an ear infection. I mean, really, like the lawyers, I hate when when my cases do that, because it's like, I'm not always available on a Sunday afternoon to be communicating with you about your parenting time. That's not going to happen because the child's sick. You know what I mean? Like, that's really.
What if there's an emergency and critical minutes are being wasted with this mediation?
Yeah. Well, anytime there's an emergency, Britt, it's always, it's well known that, whoever has the child is responsible for taking care of that emergency.
And Justin's not going to contact Kelsey if there's an emergency anyways. No. Like, that's just not that kind of guy.
I'm thinking in my head of the hypothetical of, like, let's say that while in a, visitation with Kelsey, Caidyn has something happen that requires surgery. Okay. This is all completely hypothetical. I don't want anybody, taking this out of context. Let's say that some kind of accident happens and he requires surgery. Can Kelsey sign off on him getting the surgery if Justin is unreachable, or is that something that only Justin can sign off on, and, having to sit and wait for, either mediation or whatever seems like it's just,
if it's truly an emergency, he's going to get the treatment that he needs. I mean, think about it. Like if parents were away on a vacation and grandparents were watching the child. Yeah. They don't like, okay, well, we got to wait for the parents to get back from Europe to fix this broken leg or whatever it is. No, you'll be able to do that. We usually put provisions that, you have to let the other party know as soon as practically possible upon anything like that happening. But whoever has the child in their care, if some emergency arises, they have to, seek the help that they need immediately and then notify the other parent.
Okay.
It feels more like the bigger detriment to not using our family wizard is like, it is putting a stop to any type of like rebuilding that they could be doing. Just even if you're only talking about like, hey, I got Caidyn this new snack for our visit this week. Has he tried this before? Like any little tiny communication. Now they don't have the opportunity to do that anymore. And it's just, there's no opportunity for them to rebuild as like co-parents if he doesn't want to even use that app.
Well, I will be shocked if the judge says, yes, I'm going to agree with the father and say all communications have to go through lawyers, because that would be crazy. I know that I don't know that he's getting that from his lawyer so much, or if I don't know, he's coming up with that.
Even the lawyer is probably like, no, I don't really want to write this. Like, I don't want you to have to contact me. You're kind of annoying.
Yeah.
Like,
how often does that happen, Lori? How often do you have to argue something that like one of your clients is asserting, but you are not on their side and you're just kind of drafting something that you don't really agree with?
Hi, Lauren. It doesn't happen too much anymore because I can be so selective with the cases that I take in. Like I don't take stuff if I don't want it. And I fire clients all the time because my thing is like, you are paying me a lot of money an hour for my advice. If you think my advice sucks, then that's just stupid. If you think you know better than me, then I don't think we're a good fit. I mean, I just don't. It's not you, it's me. I think we need to break up because
I invented it. It's not you, it's me.
Well, like you're trying to guide them and direct them into a certain way, and then they want to do something differently that is bad. It's a bad thing. Well, guess who always gets the grief about that? The lawyer. So I'm like, and I also tell them like, I'm not going to waste. I always call it judicial capital. Judicial capital is like when I'm going into the court and I have an emergency that I'm filing, an emergency motion I'm filing. I do that very, very infrequently because most situations are not what our court would consider an emergency. The fact that you haven't seen your child in a week, the court doesn't think that's an emergency. The fact that you didn't get your child support for a couple of weeks, that's not an emergency. What's an emergency? The child's safety issue, something like that. That's the emergency. So when clients would be like, she won't give me the child for Monday night or whatever. It's like, okay, well, we can file a contempt, we can file that, but that is not an emergency. The court's not going to hear it as an emergency. And then what's going to happen is next time Attorney Mullen has to go in on a real emergency, the judge is going to say, here she is again with these stupid motions, and I'm not even going to listen to her. So
the attorney who cried wolf. Yeah.
Yeah. So it just, I just get rid of the people if they, I mean, in the beginning, because, I was definitely more, I don't know, desperate and and now
right. I mean, you don't want your clients to make you look bad,
right.
and to hurt your reputation. So.
Right. It's silly. Like if they don't want to listen to my advice, then it's silly to be paying me for it. It just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And if they think that they know better than I know after 37 years in probate and family court, have at it. Go. You don't need to have an attorney in probate and family court. You can represent yourself. I've seen people do that frequently, and it doesn't always work out so great. But that's, it happens.
That seems silly to me. Like it seems like you're just throwing money away.
Right.
By just like, it's ridiculous. Why would you not? You're paying your lawyer a lot of money for their legal advice. Why aren't you following it? Why aren't you listening to it?
Yeah.
Like you're paying. That's what you're paying for.
Yeah, I know. Because it's not just like people think, it's the advocacy. It's actually, to me, in family court, it's so much more about the guidance and the advice of how the case should go than it is really about winning or losing in court, because we don't really win and lose in probate and family court. Everybody loses in family court. That's a good day in family court.
Lauren,
we have a special message from Kelsey. We have a special message from Kelsey, but I'm not going to read it until we hit $190,000 in the GiveSendGo. So today's group effort, collaborative goal will be to hit $190,000, and I'm going to read a special message for Kelsey. So that'll be our way of celebrating.
How far away are we from it?
We're 189,690. Actually, it's 620. 189,629. So we're about $370, which is very reasonable. So that's
come on, guys. We can do that.
Yeah.
Easy
donate.
peasy.
Yeah,
we can do that.
I give us 8 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mr. Monk's understudy said they need more incentives. Let's give them some more. Let's do some more incentives. What can we do for you?
Need more incentives.
I have cats. Lots of cats.
Teddy's here.
Dogs to offer.
Teddy.
Yeah.
Lauren,
for screen time.
Or this will be the part on Sprockets when we dance.
I just said Teddy's here and he got up. He was like, no, I'm not.
Lauren, if I was Julie Hess and I came to you and I heard your services in this case, what would you be doing?
First of all, I think that's a great idea. I don't know if they have a private investigator, but I just can't. I don't see this situation getting better. I've said it so many times before. Leopards don't change their spots. And unfortunately, I don't think Justin is going to change his. So I would suggest that would be something to look into for them. But, there's a lot of downtime with this guy. So what is he doing in his downtime? He's not working. He's sitting around and getting paid for it. Where's he going? On the weekends, where's he at? I would go where he was. So a lot of tailing, a lot of, sitting around and waiting and observing, picture taking, things like that. And that's
media talking.
Yeah, I mean, I think they've shut that down, though. It seems like they're very closed off with their social media. And so I don't know that you're going to get much at this point on the social media aspect from him. But I mean, this guy has a lot of time on his hands. Where is he going? Is he going to certain stops that he used to go to on certain specials on certain weeks? These are the things that you would want to know. And these are the cases that are bread and butter for a private investigator, with family.
You mean court. On the day when they have like half off edibles?
Yes. Is he there? Does he go,
Yes.
So
just post up there and wait.
Yeah.
What was that place called? Mellow something?
Somebody.
Oh, yeah. Right. You're
Mellow
right.
Yellow.
I'm actually thinking Ken Mellow. Yeah.
No.
But that's always what I thought.
He goes to Mellow's house.
I'm thinking Mellow Mushroom, but that's a pizza place.
That's one of the things that kind of pisses me off with this case is that Kelsey's parents had to be approved to take care of Kelsey. Kelsey had to have her house checked in order to be safe for the child. But yet, the other side of the coin, no one has verified the safety of the child where it currently has custody.
Right.
Is that unusual, Lori? Or should that be a two-way street?
Yes, and that is one of the things that, we really want to look into with this 209A reform. Like, I think that's a very basic. What happened was, Justin went in on an emergency 209A order, and they did the Corey checks, in other words, on him. But if you remember when Kelsey ended up back in jail, they did Corey checks on everybody that was going to be in the house for the bail to be allowed, just for her to go there. So I definitely think that we could reform the 209A law to change the time to 48 hours maximum instead of up to 10 business days, which is why Kelsey's ended up being 14 days later. And they already knew that when they went to serve her, and to say that there needs to be a DCF 51A report immediately to have an investigation on both parties and both do household inspections and to do queries on everybody in the children's house. I think that's a bare minimum of what we can do in terms of modifying the 209A law. And as a matter of fact, I'm meeting on Thursday with my state rep to talk to him, Stephen Howard, to talk to him about doing some reform on the 209A.
Nice.
We're closing in on $190,000 really quick here. So two $100 donations just came in. Which is amazing here. So $171
Lori,
needed.
Wow.
Sarah Be Creative wants to know about cows. Is there a milestone? Is there a milestone that we can reach where you tell us a story about cows?
What's going on?
I can kind of just float it out there that my craziest case that I ever had involved a videotape and cows. And if you want to hear the rest of the story, but I will say it is R-rated, so definitely put the children to bed. Yes, maybe even
an R-rated movie. Lori's perfection.
That sounds beyond R, man. That sounds like maybe borderline X. Man.
Maybe on another show. That's
on Mazza After Dark, we can.
Yeah.
Tonight on MazzaMedia, there was a story told about a cow. A rated R story about a cow. Mazza all of a sudden cuts the feed, and all of a sudden, I'm sorry, I had to remove that guest.
Pixelated.
But it is kind of an interesting point, because people say all the time they see these pleadings that get filed and they're like, oh, it's so outrageous, and oh my gosh, the judge is just going to be, they're not going to believe this or believe that. Well, let me tell you, if you've been practicing family court long enough, there's not much that the judges haven't seen, that the attorneys haven't seen. And on a scale of like 1 to 10, I mean, some of these things that have come up are like 3 or 4s for me compared to some of the stuff that I've dealt with. Some of it really horrific and sad stuff, children being abused, burnt with cigarettes and things like that, things of that nature, just like heartbreaking and disgusting. And then you have the funny cow story. The cow story is kind of a funny story. But if you don't want to hear it, I won't tell it.
That's all right.
No.
But if you do, donate now.
Yeah, guys.
I'm making my
Read
donation
the
as
cow
we
story.
speak.
Yes. No cows were harmed. I will say that.
Oh, that's
Okay.
good.
Okay,
So
good.
people
That's what I
wanna
was
hear
the most
that,
afraid of.
Okay, but
Yeah.
not harmed in the sense that but harmed if they were a human, maybe emotionally harmed.
Emotionally, the cows were emotionally
Where did
trapped.
the cow hurt you?
Yeah,
us
no.
all.
Where did
Is this story worse than what happened to the cow and me, myself, and Irene when Jim Carrey took out the cow? That you guys remember that?
I love that scene.
Yay,
That-
a
that's
movie
like-
reference.
that's like-
I got it.
Well, there
I
was
got my
things
movie
done to the
reference.
cow that Jim Carrey didn't do to the cow, but yes, I think.
Yeah. Oh boy.
I don't
See,
know.
that's a movie that I thought that I've seen because I like can picture the cover, like the movie poster, and then you just said that, and I realized I've never seen that movie before.
That's such a good movie.
Yeah.
That's so funny. That movie is so
Yeah.
funny.
I haven't
Okay,
seen
there's
it
an
in
incentive.
years.
too.
We'll get Emily to watch. What'd you say? Me, myself, and Irene. We'll make
I'll add it
Emily
to the
watch
list,
it.
the graveyard list
Right.
of movies
If
that I
we
always
meet
tell
a
people, like, oh
goal.
yeah, definitely, I'll see
The
that.
Rhode Island State Police.
I think that's
Where
why I
are we at
loved
right
it
now,
so
Mazza?
much, being
Yeah.
a Rhode Island girl.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Well,
so
someone
funny.
says donate 5,000 to hear the story. I mean, I definitely would have to tell it for the $5,000 donation,
exactly.
whether you want to hear it or not. Whether you want to hear it or not, Mark, I would do it.
Exactly. Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't
we
know
have to do
choice.
anything.
Exactly.
Uh,
Exactly.
I have a question, Lori.
Yeah.
Does she have a GAL?
No, that was a request that was made by Justin's attorney, and the judge at the last hearing in her order said that she was going to defer that question to the actual judge who's going to be hearing the case from now on, who is Judge Ulwick. She was just kind of a temporary fill-in for Judge Ulwick that day. She did Judge Ulwick's entire list. So it'll be a completely different judge. Judge number 3 that we've had in this case since Kelsey's been at the hearings, but she is the one that issued the original restraining order, Judge
That's
Ulwick.
exactly what I was about to.
And that, so if she does have a GAL assigned to her case, that won't cost. Does that cost her? Okay, would the
Yes.
GAL be supervising?
No, the GAL would be acting as an investigative arm of the court and would basically just, meet with the parties. And the GAL that he's requested is a mental health GAL, which I don't really think that we need that at this point. But so if it's a mental health professional, if the judge decides to appoint it, a lot of times they'll have the parties sharing the cost, but it's expensive. Like a mental health professional GAL, the retainer fee for that's going to be $8,000 to $10,000 at least. So you're looking at another $4,000 to $5,000 per party. Again, another reason to donate on the GAL. And even if it's an attorney, like an attorney GAL that isn't a mental health, but just an investigative arm of the court, they're going to get easily $6,000 to $7,000 on a retainer to investigate this case. And then they make a report to the court, and then they stay involved and do follow up as the case gets closer to trial, if it's going to go to trial and those type of things. But yeah, at this point, there isn't one, but it is on the table for the next hearing because the judge deferred it to her.
And if you were the judge, would you point one at this point?
I would have to see, well, because I know things that, the judge doesn't know, but like if I'm pretending I'm just the judge and I don't know anything, I would wait and see the supervising reports and to see how the supervised visits went, to see if there's anything that I should be concerned with in terms of the communication of the parties, which in this particular case, I haven't seen the messages back and forth between Kelsey and Justin, but I mean, if it's just Justin being mad because of a social media post, then that's on Justin, But I mean, if the communication seems to be going well, I would defer a GAL at this point. You can appoint one at any time, but you do have to be mindful of the time that these things take and the costs that are involved. It's not like an endless supply of money that these parties have, and at some point you're denying people access to justice by like it costing them so much money.
All
Lori,
right,
I
we
just
hit
got 2 questions in the chat that I thought you might know the answer to. Sorry, Mazza. Somebody asked about any thoughts on that judge who issued the original order. Do you have thoughts on Judge Ulwick?
So I've said this before.
Or
I don't
feelings?
practice in Essex County because it's very far away from me. So I don't really have any personal experience with her. However, I have talked to people through, X and otherwise who have had experience with her. And they say she's very fair and they like her as a judge. So I think Julie Hess is happy with her as well. So, so hopefully, and, people can can kind of point a finger at her in terms of what happened with the restraining order, but it's just not fair, because based on what she had in front of her and based on the law, the way it is written right now, she didn't have a heck of a lot of choice, but to issue that restraining order. The issue was really in the way it was served, and in the law itself, just giving too much time and other things that could have been done a little bit differently, but she was following what the statute says. So.
And then the other question was, does Justin have a job yet, or is he back? Does Justin have a job yet, or do we know anything about his employment status?
I am not going to comment.
$190,149.
Everybody's asking me why certain people are placed in the corner. I could move everybody around, but no matter what happens, half the show will be in a corner no matter what I do. So it's like,
No,
Will's in the corner. Will's in the corner. I'm like, it's not done on purpose.
No corner.
I'm just not. Yeah.
Then I'm moving somebody else into the corner.
Nobody puts Brady in the corner.
Want me to shut up because I feel like I've been talking too much. So
I'll stick my nose in the corner. Why do I need to turn my head?
People are just noticing that I'm not very talk. I'm just not feeling that great, honestly. Kind of fighting something, it feels like, but it's
you
whatever.
Sound like you're congested, Will.
Yeah. I'm not.
Your shirt's
great,
doing the talking tonight.
That's all. I love my new shirt. Yes, I love my.
That's all you have to say, really.
That's all right.
Yeah, no, that's all. I'm just not feeling great, so I'm gonna just jump off, honestly.
That's all right. Well,
because I just
feel better, Will.
Feel better.
Thanks.
I
think I'll be all right. I'm sure I'll be all right. It's the weather. It's rainy. It's nasty, and it's I'll be all right. But thanks for having me. I'll see you guys later.
Thank you, Will. Take care of yourself, brother. Take some NyQuil, man. All right, take care. All right. Will the Glare, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so we promised a special announcement from Kelsey Fitzsimmons once we got over $190,000 in donations. Presently, we're $190,149 on the GiveSendGo. Nice. Kelsey said basically to tell everyone, she says thank you. So that's a message from her to everybody. And please let everybody know how grateful she is. So she's extremely grateful, obviously, for all of this. Everybody's donating a lot of money. Yeah, Purple Hearts for Kelsey in the chat for sure, ladies and gentlemen. That's fantastic.
Love you, Kels.
She said she's had some amazing, absolutely amazing days with her son. So that's very great news to hear, echoed by Lori, I believe, earlier in the show. And she says, it truly feels like no time has passed between us. That's an incredible statement to hear, too, as well.
My heart.
I know, me too. I'm melting a little.
She says, so much love. So much love. You have all had a huge part in helping me get here. In all caps, she says, thank you. And she told me to read it out loud, which I've done. So, Kelsey, we're here for you, obviously. And thank you for that special message from yourself to everybody out there. And Purple Hearts are in the chat. Ray from Dallas is using red hearts, but that's perfectly fine because you know what? In the world of Karen Reed, everybody wore pink shirts, but I wore a red shirt. So Ray from Dallas gets to be the person that gets
Who did not wear the pink
hearts.
shirt?
Exactly. Who did not wear the pink shirt? Exactly.
Love you, Ray.
Exactly. Oh, it's fantastic. That's great news. Great message from
her.
And
that warms my little heart.
Yeah.
I know. Mazza, when you first started reading it, I thought the message was just Kelsey says thank you. Then you stopped. I was like, whoa.
You know what it reminds me of? That had been it.
Kelsey says thank you. That's the text.
Ralphie is like trying to use his little decoder pin, and there was so much tension, and people are knocking on the bathroom door, and he's trying to get his privacy. And he's been saving up for months to get this decoder pin. And there's finally a message coming through the radio from Little Orphan Annie and her show. And then it was just like an ad for Ovaltine. It was like, don't forget to drink your Ovaltine. But yeah, that's hilarious.
Don't forget to drink your Ovaltine. Exactly.
A little bit of news, maybe. I'm hearing from my sources that that Jeff January has been cleared of all charges, so that brought by the complaint. So
fantastic.
You mean not charges? You mean the complaint? The complaint that
I'm talking about the administrative complaint.
Administrative complaint filed against him.
McCarthy.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to use the word.
That's good.
That means, I know I've used the wrong word there. Complaint.
No. I just don't want people thinking that there were actually charges pressed against him, because anybody that doesn't know, in the chat or that's listening, parole officer January was the Kelsey's probation officer when she ended up getting sent back to jail, and he had recommended that that she was doing fine. He had showed up to court and said that she wasn't in violation of any conditions, and then our favorite judge, Kathleen McCarthy Naiman, decided to file a complaint against him. So and then everybody knows what happens after that. Then she ends up going to jail for absolutely no reason, completely ridiculous stuff. But that's good to hear that he it did not see any repercussions from just being a good at his job and basically a good person. So that's good.
What an outrageous story.
These judges,
go ahead,
like these judges who are like, oh, there's a lot of eyes on me. Let me double down on the thing that
I know.
the public is so upset about in the first
Right.
place. Like you could have just disappeared into the
in a
abyss.
month.
Yeah.
You haven't heard her name in a month, have you? I mean, she's awful silent.
But this is why we need eyes on this case still, because the judges need to be held accountable, and they're entitled to do that by the people because they work for the people. So we still need to have eyes on these cases and all of that for that specific reason.
And Britt, you talking about Bedrow's 6 mile run. I'm looking forward to on June 11th doing a 6-minute walk. How about that?
Yes.
How are you feeling? How's everything going with you?
Yeah, how are you?
Oh, everything's falling in place. It's just a matter of time. But
good.
The 6-minute walk is required by all centers. You have to do a 6-minute walk to get listed.
We love that.
We're praying for you.
Mav is waiting on a new lung.
Hopefully two.
Hopefully two. Okay.
Hopefully two.
I hope neither one of them are iron.
I looked that up a couple of years back. There's still 1 or 2 people in the United States still in an iron lung. Last time I looked.
Oh my gosh.
They've been in it for years and years and years.
Wow.
I don't think the last one has died. They probably have by now. And it's been a few years since I looked it up.
That's crazy. The things that we've kind of gone through to get to where we are now in medicine, the thousands of years of trial and error. It's just crazy.
Let me blow you away, Britt. There at Vanderbilt, they put the lungs in through a slit a little bit smaller than 3 inches.
Ooh.
Crazy.
Vanderbilt is amazing. I'm so happy that you'll be there and under such good care.
Lauren, this is a case down in our area. Did you hear about the guy who basically went in for, abdominal pain? The doctor there, this guy doesn't live here full time. He has like a winter home here. So he and his wife go to the hospital. The doctor tells them, you need to have your gallbladder removed. They originally are from Northern Alabama. So the wife even asked this doctor, well, can we transport him? He has a regular doctor who we would like to consult with before pulling an organ out of his body. And this guy said, no, your husband doesn't have enough time. We need to remove this gallbladder right now. Okay.
A gallbladder?
A gallbladder. Okay.
All right.
But they go to remove it, and this very same doctor pulled out the man's liver and, of course, killed him.
Wow.
Which is on the opposite side of your torso.
I cannot understand that because the liver is your biggest organ you got in your abdominal area. And everybody around that table knew what the liver was. And they all sat there and watched him take out a liver.
Well, my understanding is this doctor is, pardon my French, a pompous ass. And so, most nurses were like afraid to speak up around him. But I mean, I just couldn't believe it, especially considering like we're talking about opposite ends of the body where these two organs should be. So
What hospital was this? I did not hear about this.
it was a Sacred Heart hospital.
In Pensacola?
No, it was in Santa Rosa Beach.
Yeah,
So kind of halfway between Destin and Panama City.
he is
Yeah.
charged now, right?
He's been charged, but I mean, it was just unbelievable to me because this man has like 15 years of experience. It just seems like I could probably look up how to remove a gallbladder and have done a better job.
I hope they will.
You
A drug
you
test
said he's a
on there.
pompous
Only way you
ass.
know- You don't way you miss it. It's be under the influence.
Most underqualified men are.
Yeah.
That reminds me of that. Did anybody watch? I don't know whether it was on Netflix, but it used to be a podcast, and then they did like a couple of different series on it. Dr. Death.
I knew exactly what you were about to
Yes.
say.
Oh,
Something
yeah.
I've seen.
That was incredible. The first season I thought was fantastic. With the guy that and it's based on like a real person.
Mhm.
This doctor that was doing these spinal surgeries, and he was completely like
Pomegranate.
out of his mind.
Nice.
I
That was in
Nice.
Texas, wasn't it?
I don't remember where. Let me see. I have mine.
We
too.
all have.
It is
How many people
Ginger
are
Line.
sponsored by
Ginger Line
Polar
Music.
right now?
I know, exactly.
I wish mine was polar. It's
Water.
definitely, this is the inferior seltzer. So you guys are
I don't know.
They were out of
Polar.
Polar.
Sounds fancy.
I was going to say, you need us to send you some funds, Lauren. You can't afford the 89-cent Polar.
Yeah.
they are always out, and especially I just like the plain, and so they never have it, and I have to get this crap. It's not as good. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not as good. It's not as
What's
popular.
that?
What's
Soda-
oh, Canada Dry?
packets.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Wait,
They have the
What do you
packets, Mazza.
There we
what do
go.
you do? What is that? Oh my god, I have so
It's
many
just
questions.
like-
Wait, what? Is it like a
It's
Crystal
just
Light
like
packet?
you can buy seltzers of Canada Dry and they come in packets. Not seltzer, obviously, but pretty good.
So it's like a flavor packet. Is that what it
Yeah,
is?
like they have strawberry. I don't know what making it Canada Dry matters, but it's tasty.
Emily, did you actually direct that video I watched this morning?
I made it.
Which-
Yeah.
You made that?
So
I
I
love
went
that
back to
video.
Fervent's oldest songs, and he was just putting out these like amazing songs with just the lyrics on the screen. And like a month ago, I was like, "Can I make you video?" Because now he started making like the montage to go with the song, and I was like, "Can I go back to your old ones and like put a video together?" And then it's like been on my to-do list forever, and I kept putting it off. And then yesterday he was like, "I'm going to put out some new videos." And I was like, "No, don't do this one. I'm going to do it. I have a vision." So yes, I made
He's so
Belcher
good.
painting,
That was
painting
really
all
good,
the things blue.
Mhm.
If we want a fervent break at any time tonight, Mazza, just say the word.
We even got it right now. It should be. Is it up?
All
There we go.
right. I
There
haven't
we go.
seen it yet. So
So
Oh
good.
my God, yes.
Here we go. And here we
All
go.
right, class. Today we're going to learn how to do accident reconstruction. Does that sound fun? Well, listen up, because here's how it's done. First thing to do is cosplay as the victim. You gotta buy his sweater, his shoes, and then some. His boxers, his shirt, and his denim. You all look confused. Did I say something wrong? I really need you all to play along. See, I don't have much evidence to work with, so I gotta half-ass it. It won't be perfect. Do me a favor, bring that bucket over here. Well, I was lost, but now I have an ID. You gotta paint your arm blue. What does that prove? I don't got a clue, and neither do you. Could have been a doctor, but I paint my arm blue. Yo, yeah, could have been a doctor, but I paint my arm blue. All right, next thing up, I need some elbow grease. Yeah. We're gonna send this Lexus up to outer space, cause Hank Brennan won't give me any x-rays. There is no evidence, what do I do? Well, I guess I gotta paint my arm blue. You gotta paint your arm blue. What does that prove?
that's funny.
Oh my.
Furman did a lot of great work too at the Kelsey Fitzsimmons trial with his daily recaps. We were playing those on the show quite a bit, which is absolutely hilarious. But that video was great, Emily. Great work.
So good.
The next one I'm going to do is AJ's Brady List song.
Oh, I love that one.
Oh, that would be
Wait
good.
like a month and a half when I finally get to my to-do list again.
I don't even know how you get all this stuff done that you have and have like a small child. Like I'm in awe of your ability to
You
get
heard
all of
the
these things
banging on
done.
my door during all the
Nap time.
My dog overwhelms me, so
The last donation was 10 minutes ago. We haven't got a donation to Kelsey Fitzsimmons in 10
Oh,
minutes.
God.
You
Yes,
can
we
end
haven't
that.
heard-
So fervent.
we have to have
We
the
haven't
the
even
cow
heard
story.
the cow story.
Yeah, we got yeah.
Do it for
The cow story is next. We're
The
going
cow
on to
story.
the
Come
cow
on, no, you guys will not be disappointed by the cow story, and I'll try to keep it PG-13. But
Okay, perfect.
I like the little
Typical
13
Lori.
at the end.
PG-13.
Did we talk about how expensive like the supervised visits and things like that are before I was on today?
Yes.
We did. We
Yeah,
should
a
bring
little
it up.
bit. Yeah,
But I think it's worth
bears
highlighting
repeating,
if you
though.
want to bring it up again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it bears repeating for sure.
Yeah,
So-
it's very expensive. And like
It's
I saw
expensive.
someone on Twitter saying like, well, the trial's over, right? Like what's the fundraiser for?
Right.
Well, every single time her attorneys have to make motions, have to file motions, have to
Yes.
go into court to be heard on these motions, thousands of dollars. Every time she has to, I mean, I'll go back to just the fact that she had to find someone to oversee her visit on Mother's Day last minute. That's expensive, thousands of dollars.
That's a really
Again.
good point, Lauren, because if you remember, the order was dated May 1st,
Right.
but didn't come out until like literally the Friday before Mother's Day.
Yes. So someone was able to do it, but you think that that was the same price as a regular supervised visit? Absolutely not. So like these things are thousands of dollars, and she has,
yeah.
you know, for now she has that. And so if we can help make that less painful for her, and also piss off people that it may piss off. I
was
like that part.
just going to say the same thing because you know it makes him so mad
Yes.
every time that he checks that. Like if you
Oh,
went
yeah.
in his Google history every day, I bet what's her total at, and every day it just makes him more mad.
Right.
Yeah,
He
so
goes,
let's give
"Yeah."
them something to keep updating and checking and upping, you
Let's
know.
hear
Let's
for
raise
every
that
dollar.
fund.
You think he watches these?
I do.
Probably.
I do.
Everybody say hi. Hi, Justin.
Hi.
We're raising more money.
Can I give a quick shout out to Romy because she's made 2 donations totaling $300 in the past
Wow.
30 minutes.
Romy.
Aw,
Yeah.
Thank
Chris-
you.
Yeah.
Mazza, don't you have the clapping?
Romy
on?
wants the cow story.
Not only
Romy
that,
really-
she actually made.
Romy
she
really
actually-
wants that cow story, and I know Romy personally now,
Romy.
so she definitely wants the cow story.
Yes, she does.
She actually made Romy actually made 3 donations tonight.
Wow.
One at the very
Romy.
beginning of the show. Yeah, she's
Thank
made
you, Romy.
quite a bit of
Thank
contribution.
you.
So round
There
of
we
applause
go.
for Romy.
Lori, talk about how long it took that order to get
Yeah.
down to the clerk's office.
Yeah,
Now,
horse and buggy.
in Kentucky, I mean, everything's done electronically from the judge's chamber to the clerk's office. What do they do up in Massachusetts? They put it on the back of a turtle and he carries it down over a week.
Yeah. No, I mean, generally, I mean, it's all done electronically, but I mean, I'm not saying this from having any personal knowledge, but there are eyes on this case, and you have to remember that. And certain people need to see certain things to make sure things are being handled correctly. And I don't mean that in a negative way for Kelsey. I think in some ways the tables have turned for her in that way, where they just want to make sure things are done correctly. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, although, you know, sometimes dotting the I's and crossing the T's, then it takes a little bit longer. So there's that. But I did want to piggyback a little bit on what Lauren was saying in terms of the cost. Yes, the criminal trial
This doesn't
is over.
sound like it's going to be the cow story.
We got to get to that mark. No, it's definitely not.
Oh, here,
Come on,
this is what
little
we're
more-
gonna do. One
Some more
quick pause.
donations.
Let's put a donation. Let's put it this way.
Yeah.
So I'm how far am I away from $52,000? So for all fundraisers, I'm at 51,862. How about this? If all Mazza fundraisers total $52,000, which we'll need $138.
So that's doable.
Oh, we can do it.
Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll make that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But so this isn't the cow story. But what I was going to say is, if you think that Kelsey has a lot of money left over, if any, from the funds that have already been raised, unfortunately, that's not the case. I mean, I don't have like exact numbers, but when you look back at the whole criminal case from the very beginning, there were 3 appeals. SJC appeals. It was insane. So all of that was a lot of work. Remember all those briefs that Tim Bradel wrote? Remember all the times that he went to court, all the times that Kelsey got habed in, all of that stuff that was going on. That was all before the trial. So to think there's like so much left over from those original funds that were raised. I mean, thank God they were raised, because, she wouldn't have been able to do it. She didn't even have a job. She was trying to recover from a gunshot wound. So how would she have afforded? She would have had to have a public defender. She wouldn't have been able to afford, to have a Tim Bradel caliber attorney that she needed to have. So, to think that like, oh, well, the criminal case is over, so why are we still raising funds? It's like, oh, come on, I mean, it's a valid question. But I think that, it's obvious now why we still need to keep trying. If you care about Kelsey and you care about this cause, and a lot of people obviously do, and we've seen her through this far, and look how far we've come. Instead of looking at like, well, why doesn't she have this and why doesn't she have that? We're getting there, and it's so much better now than it was a month ago, in terms of her relationship with her child. Compared to where we were 2 months ago or 3 months ago, it's moving right along. But the funds have been a huge part of her being able to stay in this fight.
Yeah. I've been impressed with Julie Hess's filings and things. I mean, she doesn't ask for too much. She asks for it in steps. That is logical. You can see a big difference in the filings from the two sides. That's all I'm going to say.
Love her.
Thank you, Sarah Be Creative, for your multiple generous donations.
Love Sarah.
Hers have been like $100 a pop too.
Aww.
She's really wanting that cow story as well.
We can now clear the cow story for telling. The cow can now jump over the moon. So we have $52,000.
If only it were that innocent. We can't tell it without Emily being back.
Yeah, she's got to be back.
I'm here for the cow story.
She's like, did someone say cows?
Please tell the cow story. Yeah,
well, I very appropriately changed my background today. See?
She put that on her wall today just for the theme.
Right. Yeah, seriously, just hoping someone would ask for the cow story. Just coincidentally, of course.
If you hadn't told us and somebody was just like, oh, that looks like a new wall art. Do you have a story you want to tell us about a really disgusting person?
Not obvious at all, is it? All right. So here's my craziest family law case story ever. All right. And the woman that I had the case with, the other attorney, actually may be watching because we're like, best friends now. And she's another family law attorney.
I'm so nervous about this segment. I don't know where this is. This is not like, I hope this is not, there's certain types of humor I can't handle and I might have to take my headset off. That's okay. Go ahead, Lauren.
I'll try to keep it entertaining. Anyway,
no.
So,
try to make Mazza take his headset off.
I know, right? He's
That's new goal.
He's already blushing. I'll let you go on a rant after.
It's Mazza After Dark.
Yeah, you can talk to us about sports after.
Exactly.
To clear your mind. Anyway, so I had this case. It was a divorce case. And the parties obviously didn't get along very well. And I say that kind of a lot of times, sometimes people aren't like totally at each other's throats. But in this particular case, they were. And they had 3 fairly young children, say like under the age of 11. And I was representing mom. And we actually became like very, very close friends. We were friends before, but after this case was over, it kind of bonded us a little bit. But anyway, so my friend was representing dad. And I was really pissed off on a Monday. I had been on vacation the week before. And then the Monday I came back from vacation, there was this nice, emergency motion for temporary orders scheduled for the next day. It's always fun to come back from vacation to that kind of stuff. It's like awesome, right? So I'm reading through it, and it's like all this stuff about my client and bad mother, and it was scheduled for the next day. So I called my client up and I said, listen, you're going to have to come in. We have this emergency motion now tomorrow. And, we need to go over the things. We need to talk about it. And she's like, okay, I'll be in. So she comes in and she sits down, and I start, saying, this is the allegation or whatever. And she takes out this VHS tape, and she goes, this was a while back. So she plops it on my desk. I said, what's that? She says, that's a videotape of my husband, a cow. And I said, excuse me? And she said, that's a videotape of my husband, a cow. And I said, okay. So I did hear you right the first time.
I was like, la, la.
This was my fear that this is what the story was all about. I almost asked.
Oh, I knew it. I knew it.
This
the
isn't a story
moment
of this
the
kind
nugget
of
was
subject
dropped.
matter, is it? Yeah, okay.
It's like, come on, though. It's like, have people heard everything? I mean, like, I've heard everything. But anyway, so I said, okay, that's nice. I said, well, why don't you go home now?
That's
So that my
nice.
secretary and I can watch this videotape 5 times.
You're like, you're like, well, look at the good news. At least he didn't, cheat on you with the woman.
Well, anyway,
I don't know what's worse.
so I had her. Oh no, it gets worse. So I had her leave. I had her leave, and I did have a VHS player in my. This is the sad part. I had a VHS player in my office because my kids often would come. They were very little back then, and they would come and they would watch Winnie the Pooh. This was hardly.
You had to make sure that VHS was not
Yes,
in there.
you really didn't want to mix that one up, right?
Cover your eyes, Pooh.
So I put it in. I have my secretary come upstairs to watch too, and we were just like
Is this
watching
real?
it, like,
Yeah.
okay, so we watch it again just to make sure of what we saw. So let's just say there was a step stool involved, and I found out,
like a cow milking, where they would normally milk the cow, like that kind of stool.
behind the cow, like at the
But they
tail.
moved it. But like that stool, like they were just repurposing.
Emily wants all of the details.
I have so many
It's all
questions.
Emily's fault, Mazza. I'm just saying this.
That's not what that stool is for, sir.
Exactly.
But it gets better because, okay, so there was the act, okay, to which I will say the cow did not care. Okay, in the videotape, the cow was like whatever. It just is like, I don't know, something going on back there. I have
Is that
no
something
idea.
about the husband?
I
going on
think
there.
so.
Right?
The cow was used to it.
Yeah,
How did
but
notice
the
it
worst
there?
part was I asked my client, I'm like, well,
The
like,
cow
how
was
did this get
groomed.
videotaped?
Groomed. Yes.
And she told me that his sister videotaped him doing this. Huh? Anyway, so that's not
It's
Really?
even
right?
creepier. Yeah.
That's
That's a whole other level of creepiness right there.
And
Yeah.
hang on, I need you to back up 1 second, Lori.
Wait.
So the husband is the one who's filing the emergency motion too?
Yes. So he's filing the emergency motion, and he alleged all these things about my client. And so I'm having my client come in, like, whatever. And so when she did come in, she was like, she knew she had the golden, key. She's just like, here, and like, I'm like, okay, what's this? And she's like, I told you guys, it's my husband. But I'm like, okay, whatever. So I looked at it. So then I called up the other attorney and I said, listen, this is an infamous story in like Bristol County. Like everybody in probate family court knows this story by now because between the two of us, we've told it so many times. We're fun at parties. People like always want to hear this story. Tell us the cow story again.
Story.
Anyway, so so I told my client, I'm gonna look at things and I'll get back in touch with you. So I called up this opposing counsel and I said, I really think that you need to, and this attorney, she's a great attorney, extremely aggressive. Like, she's what you would describe as like, pit bull attorney. People go to her for really aggressive representation. Anyway, so I said, I think you're going to want to continue your motion tomorrow. I don't think you're going to want to go forward on that. And she said, well, why not? After she was like, your client this, your client that, your client this, your client that. I said, okay, but like, I just watched a videotape of your client, a cow.
And I want you to know that your client has done this, okay?
I have
We had a
the
sister
nuclear
film.
codes.
Yeah. Anyway, so
on
she's
your
like,
client.
What did she say?
Well, she was like still like on her rant, and then I just threw that in there, right? Because I was trying to stop her, and she's like, "What did you say?" Just like what I said to the client was the same exact thing. So I said, "What did it sound like?" I said, and so she said, "It sounded like you said you have a videotape of my client, a cow," and I said, "You have very good hearing, my friend," and and let's just say the motion did not go forward because after that she had her client come in and apparently he verified it for her because he knew it existed. He just probably didn't know that she knew it existed.
That's
Okay, can we go
emergency
back to the part with the sister filming?
Why
you?
did
How was it?
Emily.
fitting?
Like,
This feels fitting
No,
for the
I-
occasion. I just say.
Because
Are you okay,
did
Mazza?
he know?
Mazza,
Just
her
a
to, like,
disclaimer on
direct?
this show is that the
What's
opinions of my
happening?
guests in the
Yes.
subject matter do not necessarily reflect the host. and-
Fitting in my opinion.
and it wasn't cleared. It wasn't cleared with Mazza, but like honestly,
Emily likes
That's all right.
Mazza's face way too much right now.
Did I send you that,
Okay,
that
because I-
clip? Did I send you that clip
Emily has
about,
questions.
about the wife who left home with her dog? Were you the
Oh.
one I sent that to?
The wife that left home with her dog.
I must not have sent it to you. You'd remember it.
I don't know.
You know the story, don't you, Lauren?
Well, that was
This week. A wife found videotape of her husband doing it with the dog, and
Oh.
took the dog, left home, took the dog to animal type place, shelter to have it checked or whatever, and he got reported and he got arrested. And I can't remember, was he a DA, a lawyer, or a sheriff? I don't remember. It was one of those three.
Oh, geez, this sounds like Norfolk County.
Right.
I'm thinking Texas, but I might be wrong.
Oh
I
my
don't know.
gosh. So
wow.
were you able to use infidelity against the guy? Lori?
He was cheating on her with a cow.
Did he really put the moves on it?
Exactly.
Had the
It was
wife
really so-
lost weight recently, and maybe he liked the weight on her more. I don't know.
Well,
I
let's
think
just
that's
say we
for
did end up
$12
settling.
donation.
We did end up settling that case shortly thereafter because after that, like my friend who was representing husband really kind of lost all the fight that was in her after that happened.
No
So
more
she was
emergency
like, we're
husbands
just gonna.
after that.
So when we were putting the agreement through with the court, I was like, oh, I have one more document for you, attorney, and I just like slid it under her folder, and I had printed up this this cow picture with like the line going through it. Emily will appreciate this because this was back in the day. We didn't really have a lot of these things, but like with the line going through it, and I wrote on top, I was like, no mas. Right before the judge was coming out on the bench, and she was just like losing her mind because now we have to go forward and do this hearing, and she's like laughing. It's like when you're in church and you start getting the giggles and you
Yes,
can't
that's
stop
the worst.
it's so bad. Anyway, yeah, so that was fun. And then like for years after that, I would like get her cow socks for Christmas and stuff like that. It's just like,
The running inside joke.
so funny.
Oh
Yeah,
my
so
gosh.
funny.
All
Oh,
the attorneys I know have to laugh because of the stuff they go through. So it's
Yeah,
no
if you
surprise to
don't-
me at all that
And the moral of that story is Justin thinks he's being so like provocative by being like, oh, like Kelsey got tired on a 6-mile hike that I dragged her on in Croatia. And she said she didn't want to be there with my family. She's
Right.
the
Yeah.
worst person in the whole wide world. And the judges are like, you want to know what I've seen?
exactly.
I'm
Exactly.
so sorry that your family vacation was slightly inconvenienced by your pregnant girlfriend.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I had to watch a VHS of a man and a cow. And
Yeah,
somehow
you don't know where I've
something
been, boy.
wrong. They still
You don't know what I've
I've
seen.
And
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have PTSD just from hearing the story.
So, all
I'm
of
sorry.
the-
This is,
I
and
feel
for all
like
those listening and watching, this is apparently going to be my last time on Mazza.
No, you'll be back. You'll be back. The cow story will be
There
back
are more
moving forward.
stories.
No, Lori meant that in the way of like, now I'm branching off on my own. I'm too big for this show now. I'm
Yeah.
taking the show on the road.
More cow
Going on a
stories.
storytelling journey.
Yes.
That'll be fun. There we go. You're
Oh,
gonna have some
God.
humor. You're gonna tell some jokes sometimes, even if the host doesn't necessarily, doesn't really understand that kind of humor and
Poor man.
find it as funny. It's all right. It's all right. We gotta,
Roll
you
me.
let your guests have a good time on your show. You can't be too square all the time like I usually am.
Yeah.
So-
No one was hurt. And
emergency
I really
part.
mean it. The cow seemed to be fine.
Yeah.
The cow didn't. So this says a lot about the gentleman. The cow didn't
Yeah.
even notice. The cow did not even notice what was going. The cow was like, "Rah, rah, rah," just still chewing its
Oh my
cud.
God.
Yeah, but doesn't that make you think maybe he's done it before?
Oh yeah, I think
Oh,
it's
yeah.
definitely, and there had been some remarks that my client had made previous about like him not being, I don't know, he had issues. You know what I mean? So anyway, so
You think?
Did we find
Yeah.
out why the sister was filming?
that was
How
weird.
did-
Like I never
do
did.
we know
didn't
anything
get
about
to that point? But I remember my friend, the counsel for him, her paralegal was very, very animal friendly. Like she's like super like crazy about animals, and she was
I
so
don't know.
enraged. She wanted to report him to the ASPC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I mean, I did have to
But
tell
did
her,
he
it's
get
like,
criminal
the-
charges?
She's
you
like,
know,
PETA,
I mean,
get in here.
Yeah, it's like the cow didn't want to press any charges. The cow was like, I didn't notice.
And they
Calling
were
the
making
cow in
love.
to testify on the stand. Like,
Well, I never expected to be talking about bestiality on Mazza's stream.
You never know what you're gonna get.
oh, man.
Fortunate
All right,
that
Mazza,
Mazza
you
has
get
a
to
name.
talk sports.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
it's all right.
that's about sports.
No, let's talk
Seriously.
let's talk about Kelsey Fitzsimmons' story a little bit more. Civil suits, especially against the North Andover Police Department, is what we're kind of anticipating here. This is a department that really has, seen a chief of police that has basically stepped away. Gets like paid, all paid expenses paid, basically vacation here throughout the summer. Just some of our thoughts about a civil suit against the town of North Andover. And the upcoming, what we're anticipating is going to be a civil suit. But these people are going to have a lot to answer for in that police department, to say the
Yeah.
least. What are some
Yep, and
thoughts?
they're in the
October.
presentment stage. So Tim had Attorney Bradle had sent the letter to the town. That's a requirement before you file any civil action. They have 6 months to respond. He has to wait that 6 months before he can file anything. That letter was sent to them very soon after the not guilty verdict.
April 4th, I think.
Yeah. Oh, you're probably right.
And
you
I
have a
think
good memory for
October
that.
4th is when they can.
Okay, so you already have
6
that in your
months long.
brain. Thank you. So he's waiting for that, but there will be.
She's festive.
Oh my gosh.
Emily, you're sick. I love you.
What did I start?
Like, why do I
yes.
have this shirt?
For
I
this.
needed a reason.
We
to wear
stand
this
with the
shirt.
cow.
Yeah, well, like, I'm
Justice
just
for the
gonna-
cow.
Here we go.
There we go.
Ooh. Anyway. But yeah, so,
Why does this have so much
after
difference?
October 4th, that you'll expect to see. I'm sure that he's probably already even working on the drafting of it, and that will come. And I hope she does get justice in that way. I really do.
I wouldn't be surprised if they settle on that. Like, in my opinion, I don't think they want the stuff that's going to come out to come out.
It's a hot mess, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope they do, because
But see,
I
this is
do
what I
think-
mean when I was talking about McCarthy Naiman and Officer January, where it's like you think a lot of times what Lauren just said, which is like people know that there are eyes on this, like they're not going to want X, Y, and Z to come out, and then they like double down and do the craziest thing that you could possibly imagine them doing. Like I could picture them being like, actually, we're filing like workers' rights something on like they just nobody reacts to these things in the way that I would expect them to, and that's confusing.
And that's when
Yeah.
you know that
Well-
they've been doing it a long time, and in
Right.
many other cases, in my experience.
Didn't something break this week out of Lawrence County about the police department? Did another officer get in trouble for something this week?
I hope you had earmuffs on for half of that last couple of minutes. I'm sorry.
I will.
Will Page is in the comments here, as you guys can see. He says, "We love all you guys. We appreciate you. Keep the fundraisers going for Kelsey. It's so helpful. If you guys didn't help, it would have been very difficult to get to this point." That's just a great message there from Will Page. Great man. Elizabeth Justice served in the past month or two as well. Great appearance on there. Kind of shared a lot more into what was going on and what Kelsey experienced. But this family has been behind Kelsey all the way, supporting her. They are extremely gracious people to the supporters. They, when I met all of them, they all walked right up to me, shook my hand, introduced themselves. And I got to talk to Will one-on-one for a little bit as well that day. And he's a very fantastic person. And he says here, "I never would have thought the amount of money you have to pay for the ability to see your child." That's absolutely correct. This has been, even me, when I just learned about this, there's cost involved. It's as Lori has shared. This is an astronomical amount of money to pay on top of defending yourself, family court,
Hospital
criminal
bills.
court, recently, and upcoming civil matters. This is definitely, again, why we continue to do these fundraisers. And we're closing on 1,500 folks. If we can get that number, we're about $29 away. The GiveSendGo is lagging a little bit tonight. It's a little bit behind when the donation comes in. Like, say someone donates $25, it's taking like 3 to 4 minutes to update tonight. So GiveSendGo, get your act together, because you're affecting our show. That's kidding. You're good to go. But thank you everyone for their donations.
Is that Kelsey went from being a homeowner to having to move in with her parents to now renting somewhere. So, she's had, on top of her hospital bills and everything else, so many setbacks in life just from this one day. As a mother, as a free citizen, and as a self-sufficient woman, she has been put like 13 steps back beyond, where she was before. So, every
and
dollar
she's still ahead of Justin because
say,
he didn't
Yes.
get to that next step yet.
He's
but
living
every
in
dollar
Paris, isn't
is restoration for her, or
Mhm.
is getting her that much closer to restoration.
Definitely. And look how strong she's been through all of it, though. She's faced it all with a lot of dignity, and she realizes there's a process for it, and she's working really hard to not let herself get frustrated by it, and doing exactly what the court's asking of her. So it's all going great. It's only going to just keep getting better and better for her.
Yeah.
Well,
Can I
and
ask a
huge part of that
question?
is the family too.
Mhm.
Her father, her mom, her stepdad, everybody who has, stood arm in arm with her has done so much to make it to where, because imagine if she didn't have anywhere to go after having to sell the house.
Yeah.
I can't
Well,
believe I
Kelsey
heard
is the
it.
person that she is
Yeah.
because of her family. So her family is incredible, and it's a direct result from the family that she has come from. So they continue to be that rock for her, and she's extremely fortunate to have that as well.
Mary, what are we looking at?
This is my family court bag. Back when I was in and out, look at it.
Wow.
Wow.
I lugged this thing back and forth. So heavy. It's so heavy. But they told us, because I had a Justin I was dealing with, they said it was the most detailed parenting time order they'd ever had to make because of spiteful actions on behalf of my daughter's father, because he was mad at me. But I went through like 9 years of in and out, and because I wasn't willing to sink that low as he was, and until I had representation, I just couldn't get anywhere. Now, granted, I did do things, like I caused things, my actions, but if you don't have good representation, you're left in the dust, and they don't have the resources to help like women who are or parents who are struggling to even learn your rights. I didn't even know. Lori mentioned earlier how you have automatic like custody of your child unless if you're not married and unless the new order's put in place. And I didn't even know that. And I ended up, he didn't give her back. I had to go to court. And the judge said, that is, who do you think you are keeping that baby from her mother? And they're like, you have this affidavit of parentage that says you have custody. But it was a constant, like, and it was hard. I was by myself for all those years until I got representation. And only then, finally, was I able to like breathe and feel some relief, because you'll get trampled, especially when the other parent is not out for the best interests of the child. And I'm just so thankful I finally was able to get some sort of assistance. It wasn't like a lot, but it still was something. And I finally was able to succeed, but it was heart-wrenching to fight for your child.
Well, thanks for being so open and so vulnerable to share that with all of us. But this is exactly why, Kelsey needs our help, because we all know how this could have gone had she not had Julie Hess, had she not had Tim Bradle.
Yeah. And you know what's worse? She wanted Justin to be involved.
Yes.
She was urging him to be involved. So imagine how she has to jump through all these hoops, pay all this money, is feeling the constant pain every single day, because it's her baby. That's her whole world. And at the same time, she's like, I wanted you involved. And now you're coming at me, making me jump through hoops to be involved. It's just so, and he wouldn't.
Yeah. That's what happens when you hate the other parent more than you love your kid.
Yeah. And she still does it. She's still like, Kelsey's honorable in that she cares. She loves her child more than her feelings towards Justin. And
exactly,
that's very admirable.
Very.
And that's the impression I always get of Kelsey too, is I've always felt like, this is not to speak about her opponent, but I look at Kelsey and I've always felt like this is someone that's always tried to do the best that she can in everything. She's always tried to be on the right side of everything that she possibly can. Every single human being on this planet, we all have our moments of not being perfect. We have our weaknesses, we have our strengths, but I feel like Kelsey has always been someone that's had the best interests in mind, obviously, for her child. I think it's an absolute disgrace that this woman's been put through what she's put through. And I think Kathleen McCarthy Naaman is, like I said before on this show, I think the woman's the Antichrist. And I think she's worse than Judge Beverly Cannoni, quite frankly, for what she did to her. That did not need to happen. There was no need for Kelsey to go to jail. Everything about her drinking, it was hearsay. It was unfounded. It was not information. There was no DUIs. There was no public intoxication on her record whatsoever. There was nothing related to what was going on that had to do with alcohol when they served the RO, incorrectly, of course. But this is just a situation where I feel like you have a woman here, and this is why Kelsey draws so much support, is because people look at what she's gone through, similar to Karen Reed, and say to themselves, my God, this is not just someone that has had something bad happen to them. This is someone that has had numerous bad things happen to them, and almost no limitations. And that's really what this is. It sets the story apart. And for me, we always talked about during the Karen Reed case, anyone can be Karen Reed. And I look no further than Kelsey Fitzsimmons as someone that really, faces a situation unique to herself. Unique, every situation is going to be unique, but It was, again, more of a situation where a police department in a town was basically being incorrect, conducting themselves awfully. And then someone like Kelsey, similar to Karen, having to reap all the consequences of that nonsense. And again, even when it comes to family court, having to deal with far more than she really needs to right now. Like I said, I know that there's a law out there. I know that the law can be gauged in any courtroom, apparently, according to how they want to gauge it. But as far as I'm concerned, I see no justification to suggest that she shouldn't have equal custody without having to pay a dime to see her child. Quite frankly, is how I feel. Will Page is commented here. My biggest gripe with family court is it's a free pass to lie under oath. People need to be held accountable. If they were family court, would probably have less pleading. Excuse me. If they did, family court would probably have less pleadings, I believe it said. Yeah.
VHS tapes or nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'm a fan of equal parenting time. I'm not sure I'm a fan of co-custody. So we'll see how it plays out.
Well, and it's interesting because that's not what Kelsey even seems to be asking for or wanting.
Not
And so
yet.
it says a lot about her wanting, if it is all safe for the baby to have her, his father in his life. And
Equal parenting time is important.
yeah.
But there's a difference between that and legal custody and physical custody.
I mean, it shows
and
that
to have that type of custody, you have to be willing to support co-parenting. And right now, I have not seen that yet from Justin's side.
Yeah. Kelsey's filings alone and, her presence in court and Julie Hess's arguments in court show that Kelsey is the one who is coming from a place of level-headedness. She's being the most realistic. She's not trying to unreasonably burden or inconvenience anybody. And everything she's requesting is, central to the best interests of that baby. If she were in it for herself, I feel like we would see something very different. But she's definitely the more mature one.
Yeah, she's grown up. She's an adult.
Yeah.
We don't see that from the other side. So.
Well, and she comes from a very loving family that has done this well, where they, you can tell, raised Kelsey in two different households with parents and step parents that were like equally invested in her. And so she's seen it done. And I feel like that model is something that she understands how to replicate. And if Justin's intentions were good and he knows that about her, he would kind of like follow her lead in this situation, because like she's literally lived this, and it's clear that that's not his goal.
Yeah, and having two, like, not just one but two good, strong examples of men for like her father and her stepfather, I feel like she had never expected to see a man the likes of the other person. You know what I mean? It's like probably foreign to her, because both her father and stepfather are really good men, and probably caught her off guard.
Yeah. And I have to say too, we have never heard any of the family speak ill of Justin in any way publicly. And would they have had a right to? Hell yeah, they would have, but they didn't. Yeah. And that speaks volume of them as well. And that's the type of family and upbringing that Kelsey has had. So it's no wonder that she is thinking about her child and putting him first, and not, although she has plenty of reason to disparage him, has not.
Yes. When they were being interviewed outside the courtroom by Justice Served, they were so calm and so gracious and so like even keeled, and I was just like, wow. I was so impressed with them, because me and my family probably wouldn't have been, but like they're good, like solid folks.
Yeah. And it's a direct contrast to how she is being portrayed by the other half. And what we're seeing and what we've seen and all of that is just in direct contrast. She's very calm. She's very level-headed, like you said.
Yeah, and that's how you win. It took me a long time to learn this because doing it by myself, but with representation, I had to learn that the parent that goes in fighting the other is the one that loses. And her attorney is doing a great job of keeping it focused on best interests of the child, not hurling stuff because the courts don't like that. And it's like Lori said, it is such a slow process. Every little thing. And she has great representation and it's worth it. And you need it. You need it just to see your own child. I don't know this, but I can speculate and say the wound to her chest probably hurt less than the pain every single day of missing her baby from that day. Because as a mother, and I went through it, not for this long, but still, I can it just breaks my heart thinking about it because she's a good mother. We saw the evidence of her trying to get him involved, and she's still to this day in the filings. She's saying, I understand, she's being reasonable. And it's with court, it's all this work, like tons, piles of work for a few minutes in front of a judge. But the rest of it is just paperwork, filings, motions, phone calls, emails. And that costs money, and it's well-deserved money. She's got great representation, but she needs it. She needs it. And unfortunately, you have to have that to win, just to be able to be a mother to your baby. And it's really sad.
I think that's helpful to remember, what the court is looking for in your attitude, because I think sometimes these filings get posted on Twitter and then people freak out oh no, Justin said X, Y, and Z, and this is, they're gonna think this about, and it's it's helpful to remember no, the court is looking for the both parents, but if they're not both doing it, the court is looking for the parent that is willing to concede things and willing to work together and willing to be a partner, and not the one who's willing to talk about things that happened before you guys were even pregnant with this baby that we're now talking about. It's
right.
You want to talk about a time you were mad in 1997? Okay, go on.
Yeah, that's a really important point, Em, because the other thing is, all of the hearings that we've had up until now, all of that stuff was put into verified motions and affidavits and things like that. And the judge has now made an order, albeit a temporary order, but part of that order now being in effect means that they don't want to hear any more of that stuff anymore. That stuff was in the mind of the judge issuing the temporary order. Okay, we're moving beyond all of these things that you guys have filed and said about each other and all that stuff, because and she did some findings, if you remember, the judge in the temporary order, where she was I don't find that the mother was a harm to the child, blah blah blah. She made some findings in there. We're not going to now go back and relitigate that. Okay, the judge already made that order, so we're now looking at moving forward. So even if there is a trial in the future, the court's going to sit there and go, that's not really relevant to why we're here today. Something that happened 2 years ago is not relevant to why we're here today.
But Justin's probably if I stop trashing her, then she's going to tell you the truth about me.
Exactly.
Yeah. And Kelsey hasn't, she actually made a statement. She doesn't want anybody. And I've tried very hard. I've had to bite my tongue a few times, not going to lie. But I've been good, except for the cow story. And I apologize for people in the chat. Some people
the cow story didn't have to do with Justin.
Right. That wasn't about Justin.
So happy about it.
Yeah.
Kelsey's going to put out a public statement please refrain from.
Yeah. But the court's not going to want to, it's going, let's just put it this way. If there's a party in this case, and I'm not going to say who that party's name is, but if there was a party in this case that wanted to keep going back on that stuff that was put into, Kelsey said some things, Justin said some things. The judge in that last order basically said, okay, I've looked at it all. So now this is us. We're going to move forward. And this is what we're going to do. And this is how we're going to do it. The moving forward part now is all that matters. Each court date is only going to build on that. It's not going to go backwards. The courts, can you imagine how crazy family court would be if we kept doing that? I mean, it's just like, no, we can't go back. You've got a 5-year-old. We can't go back to that time when, you didn't get up in the middle of the night and feed the baby when they were 6 months old. We're not doing that. Like we need to keep moving forward. And I think
would be like if I led family
court.
court. And then I'd be like, wait a second. I have questions about your last story. I've been wondering.
Was there a cow?
My family court.
Yeah.
Emily would demand to know the status of cow in the story.
Anytime.
Emily always has questions.
Yeah, I want like
herself.
all the details. I need to be able to play out the whole movie in my mind.
I have two
Also,
questions.
that's why Justin's stories in his filings never landed with me, because it's like, that's what I do. I like literally picture the whole thing. And it's like, I can see it. I can feel it. I just feel like when somebody's telling the truth, you can like get in the moment and like, what's happening in every single one of his filings, in every single one of those stories. I was like, this didn't happen the way that you're saying it did. Like, this didn't lead to that. That doesn't make sense. This isn't how it played out. You can just feel it.
Yes.
Occam's razor.
Well, plus, he never accepted responsibility. He was Saint Justin. I mean, again, I'm going to bite my tongue, not say much more. But it's like, he was the gallant prince coming in all the time, and it wasn't credible. That's just not credible.
What was the phrase that he used in everyone where it was like, and then I wanted to like guarantee her safety or something like that? In everyone, he was like, I just wanted to, and it's like, well, what did you do to do that? I forget exactly what his words were, but it was something where it was like, you just keep saying that, but you haven't given one example of like how you did it. Yeah. Like what, like it was something about her, like making sure I just wanted to like make sure that she was okay. Or I just wanted to help her relax. I think that's what it was. Or I wanted to help her calm down. And it was like, well, what did you do? Because if you were somebody who really did help another person calm down, you'd be like, and then I brought them into the other room because like I have an autistic child that I try to help calm down all the time. In any situation, I can tell you, like, I wouldn't just be like, and then I tried to get Carter to calm down. I'd be like, so we went into the quiet room and like we turned off the lights and I gave him a hug and squeezies didn't work this time. So then we did tickles and like you have all the reasons. He's just like, and then I told her calm down. It's like,
I told her to calm down. I told her.
That is like the worst thing you can say to someone,
especially a woman. Like,
please ensure
that
they're
is
not going to.
the way to get a woman to calm down.
Right.
Especially like, if you're not even worked up and then somebody's like, calm down. You're like, oh, I wasn't even close yet. You wanted to
I know. It's like, you want me to escalate this thing?
Now, buddy.
You want me to escalate it? I will.
Yeah. Am I correct? Did the other party have to lawyer shop? To get one that would like, I thought they found the perfect one.
So like I think what you're referring to is she had this would be Justin's mom, Lisa, was texting with Officer Caidyn. Was that one, Officer Caidyn?
Yeah.
And was talking about, we're trying, we've been looking for a lawyer and we finally found one we think we like, or something like that. Emily, you can go back and find that, I'm sure, because you have that brain. But so remember the Officer Caidyn from Stowe, and it was like sending the cars by to, I don't know, prevent nothing from happening that was ever going to happen. And like, we're just wasting public resources, having cars drive by their house all the time just to kind of create
because their family's so dangerous.
Yeah. Create this idea that they were, terrified. And then, but she did, I think that was in a text message between Lisa and this officer saying, we're finally going to family court, and we finally think we found a lawyer that we want. So I guess that would imply that they were lawyer shopping, but I don't have any knowledge of that except for seeing that text message.
Well, let me ask you two questions.
Because you would think, go ahead, sir.
If we know that Kelsey has finished her co-parenting class.
Mhm.
Does Justin have to do one too?
Yes, yeah.
He just hadn't.
He may have, and maybe it's not filed. I mean,
filed.
I will say this, that, the parenting course is mandated. It's an online course. It's okay. I mean, they make people do it. It's another thing, another way for the state to make money. I find that the people that really need to hear the information don't listen to it. I have that in my own cases. Like if I tell clients that they've got to do this, but some of them get very angry about it. And I want to say, you're the one that this class is for, you know what I mean? Like, you really need to do this class, and like the people like that I have, like Kelsey, they're always like, oh, I'm going to sign up today and do this, you know what I mean? And all that stuff she probably already was willing to do anyway, but I don't know whether he's done it or not. He will have to do it. It's not all that in depth, but a lot of it is common sense. It's like, hey, you guys are parents, you got to be treating each other with respect. You don't actually have to believe it. You don't have to feel it, but that's what you got to do, because that's what's in the best interest of your child.
And the second question is based a lot off of what Mary has said. When you talk about not necessarily lawyer shopping, but how many lawyers in family court will make filings because their client wants things in the filing, but that the lawyer itself knows shouldn't be in the filing?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
No.
Where the filing might not be in good taste, but they do it anyway because the client wants it in the filing.
Yeah, I mean, there is some of that, and there are some lawyers that will be like, if I'm getting paid to do it, I'm going to do it. Like that was kind of my point.
That's what it seems like.
When I said, I don't do that kind of stuff anymore, only because I always want to maintain my credibility with the courts, and for them to see me come in and like just do something because the client's asking me to do it, and I know it's not really a winning argument, or, I feel like I'm hurting my credibility with the court, which means a lot to me, and that's very important to my clients, that like when I go in and I'm going to argue a case, like I'll tell the clients, I mean, at this point, I kind of always know what's going to happen ahead of time, and I'll say to the clients, I think this is what's going to happen, so if we can get an agreement that has this one little step extra for you, we've won, you know what I mean? Because if we argue this case and the judge says this, it's not as good as probably what I can negotiate for you. And then sometimes, I can't get the other side to do the thing. And 9 times out of 10, when I had the argument with the judge, I was 100% correct. And the judge did exactly what I said was going to happen. It's like, because you get to, especially for me, like in my county where I practice, because I know the judges, and, I mean, I don't mean know them like on a personal level, like we're going out to dinner. I mean, I know how they practice. I know what they're going to do. I know what every one of them is different. They all bring their own personal perspectives into things. You can't help that. As a judge, you really can't help that. You can say they shouldn't be doing that, but I mean, your life experiences come into play in any kind of job that you have. And you can't just,
it's quite literally different going from person to person.
Yeah. So, but like, so yes, I have seen in my career many lawyers who will do things just because the clients are paying them to do it. I also see that happens a lot when we have a crossover. Like you'll have attorneys that like don't really do family law, do mostly criminal law, but, oh, okay, well, this client came in, so I'm going to do this case for them. And then they have a different mindset. Criminal court's different than family court, so they're like, oh, they're coming in like all, gung ho. And like, it's like, that's not family court, but like, okay. It's not really a winning strategy in family court to come in like you're defending a criminal case. It's not the same thing.
I was just sitting here thinking about Better Call Saul. But
I love Better Call Saul. favorite show of
There's
all
Mr.
time.
Better,
I
we need him.
recommend 10-10.
All right.
Great show.
We're closing in on $2,000 here. That would be a great goal to achieve in a 3-hour show, especially towards Kelsey's just all her expenses that she needs to make. So right now, roughly about was it 4 per 100? So you look at about just under 400 people. If a couple $25 donations roll in, this could really help Kelsey close that gap for about $2,000. We can walk away with $2,000 on tonight's show. That'd be really great. We're averaging just under about $800 an hour tonight. So the first 2 hours were just under $1,600. So yes, if anybody can help us out with helping Kelsey, that'd be great. And please contribute in any way you guys can, even if it's $5. I see the $5 donations coming in. Thank you guys so much for those.
Yeah,
$5 right up on through.
No amount too small.
Yeah,
Right.
100%.
Absolutely.
It all adds up. I mean, it's nice to get those big donations, but really it's all those small donations that have brought us to where we are, at this point. So it's fantastic. 2 B-dubs over here. No, I have never experienced anything like Judge McCarthy Naiman ever. I mean, and that says a lot, because I've seen a lot of judges over my 37 years, and I have never, ever seen a judge treat litigants, treat an attorney the way that judge treated Attorney Bradel, the way she treated the probation officer.
Do you know anything about her outside of Kelsey's case? Like, is she typically like that? Was there something like specific about Kelsey or about the aliens that like resonated with her? Is she like, were people that knew her that day surprised too, or were they like?
I think it was case specific.
Well, that's what I'm curious.
We
like,
heard
crazy.
We heard Benetti say that he'd had good experiences with her.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you're right.
We're looking at something that seems to be kind of off the wall in this.
And then it's like, well, why? Like, why?
Well, we never got to the YM. That's the problem. That's the whole thing. And that was very clever too. Now, wasn't it? They basically took away the reason to get to the why. And if you look at Tim's filing in terms of his motion to recuse her, there are a lot of serious allegations in there that never ended up being vetted out, because it was like, oh, well, she wasn't your judge anyway, and she's on this next list, and like she wasn't going to be there. So we don't
really care. Yeah, they were like, oh, well, like she was on rotation anyways, so it doesn't matter all these things that you just said. And why are they protecting
matters?
her?
It matters so much. It matters.
Well, hopefully
so much.
it's being vetted behind closed doors, but who knows?
Yeah,
I can tell you
there was recently that judge. There was that judge in Texas recently that went viral online because he was like awful to everybody. Did you see that?
Yeah,
and it's like there's something like it's like that's bad, but like you almost feel better if you're in front of that judge and he's awful to you, and then you find out like, oh, he's actually like awful to everybody. Like, okay, it wasn't specific to this case, but if it was just specific to Kelsey, that day, that moment, that connection, whatever it is, like that should be looked into, because
100%.
That's a much bigger problem than just being a total raging a-hole.
I tell you what, that judge in Texas was my first viral post ever on X. In 12 hours, I had 1.5 million likes.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
I could not believe it, on a post about a judge in Texas that I barely knew, but everybody's outraged with that judge.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was, but you know what? She's not far behind, and specifically in Kelsey's case, you know what I mean? That's the thing. But like, wow, I mean, I can't even listen to that hearing. Like, people couldn't listen to the counselor. I couldn't listen to that hearing, because I'm like, after I heard it the first time, and then hearing Kelsey crying and just
that
like her
killed me.
Lack of compassion. Like, we don't need judges that have no compassion on the bench. I'm sorry. That's just
that's true.
That's not.
Well, me. She knew what she was going to do before it started.
Yeah.
And like I said, you're not asking for this judge to give Kelsey favoritism, but you are asking this judge to be a human being and understand that, hey, look, maybe this isn't.
She could have just said no.
Yeah.
She could have just said no.
She created would have been
ruling.
She would have been kind of an a-hole, even just saying no. Like it would have been like, oh, like that judge,
right?
Yeah, that judge kind of sucked.
She was like, I'm gonna one up myself.
Look at the next part right here with January. I mean, obviously, she knew what she was going to do. Nothing that Bradel could have said, nothing he could have brought to court, no matter what expert showed up. The decision was already made.
Right.
She was dead set on throwing her back in jail.
On the day before. Like, so she was already looking. She went to go see January. And I'm taking this from Tim's pleading. And I trust Tim so much in terms of like his ethics, that he would not be putting anything, because we have to worry about that when we file things in pleadings. We can't just make stuff up, and we have to kind of verify some of the information. So for him to put it in a pleading that, he had that conversation with January's attorney, or a letter from the attorney, saying that she went to his office the day before the hearing, looking to see if Kelsey had violated the terms of her bail and her bail conditions. And it's like, what? So the day before, so everything else that happened after that is suspect. Everything else, and none of that stuff should have happened. And you know what? We can all say, oh, well, that's all one under the bridge. That was 102 days in jail for Kelsey.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
While she was still recovering from being shot.
Exactly. She was missing out on health care that could have either, not been available to her in jail, or at least was not of the same quality in jail.
Exactly.
And part of the reason this happened is that Judge McCarthy-Naiman knew that she was not going to be held accountable for whatever it is that she did. So, until there is some kind of recourse for judges, you're going to see them go rogue, once in a while like this, if, and it makes it possible, or at least a lot more possible, for them to be blackmailed, bribed, coerced, intimidated into submission as well. So I'm not even talking about them just like having a stake in whatever case might be going on. There's also that vulnerability opened up to where bad actors, can come over and threaten a judge, and they're way more susceptible to it.
Right. When you just said she was not going to be held accountable, my mind went to Judge McCarthy-Naiman thought that Kelsey was not going to be held accountable. And then like that all kind of actually makes things make sense to me, where it's like they knew they had this like BS case against her. And if they knew that it made the case harder for her to like participate in her own defense if she was in jail versus if she was out, then there might have been people in law enforcement that wanted her to still be locked up.
Yeah,
and
maybe. But
I saw a judge in Kentucky.
And if so, then like it should be aired out. Like eventually that should come to light. And
there's no way it should not have been heard. Like, regardless of it being moved, is that like that was just, to me, that was really a shady move. To just kind of say we're not going to hear this motion when you see the serious allegations that are in there. It should have been heard regardless, because that needed to be vetted out. When you have somebody that ended up going to jail for 102 days, if even half of the things he wrote in that motion are true, that's problematic. Okay. And that should have been vetted out, not just, oh, well, it's moot, because the SJC, what did the SJC ultimately say? No abuse of discretion.
Yeah.
That's what the SJC didn't know. Any of the stuff that was in that motion that Tim Bradle filed. So I say there's plenty of abuse of discretion. I don't agree with the SJC decision anyway, because I feel like they missed the whole point of the constitutional due process issue. They didn't even get into it. But to say there's no abuse of discretion when afterwards we hear all of this stuff, I mean, and now we have this bad law because of it too. I mean, the SJC made bad law on that for all the future practitioners, like anybody going before the court thinking they're asking for a modification to a bail provision, which, if people don't understand, that happens all the time. Like every single day, judges, the lawyers will go in and be like, this bail provision, can we just modify it to this judge because of this, that, the other? Sure. What does probation think? Probation's here. We have no problem with that, judge. We don't object to that. Okay, fine. We'll do that and move on to the next case. So Tim was completely blindsided to go in and have her be like, nope, lock her up. That's it. Can't do anything. And so to me, it's like it's almost like more of a slap in the face, or more of a like, what are they covering up to say?
Exactly.
It should be an embarrassment to the whole judicial system.
And it's
in Kentucky, I saw a judge who tried to cover for his ex on the night of his arrest by personally calling the law enforcement, arranging for a blood test to be done at a certain place, things of that nature. She was removed from the bench within 3 months. And the investigation lasted almost, I'm going to say it lasted 3 or 4 years. She maintained her law license, and she tried to run for judge again and got defeated soundly. But
well, our judges aren't elected, as you know. They serve for a lifetime unless they're removed, and it's very unusual.
But still, look, it's bad face for the entire judicial.
Well, it's a slippery
body.
slope because judges have such a judicial, backing. It is very hard for them to get, removed or punished, that kind of thing. But there are certain laws, and this certain law she broke. She went and did her ex parte communication on her own, and then
I love it, Mazza says it.
I know his voice is great. And then never disclosed it, which is also another violation. So if we're not going to hold the judges to the very few standards that they have of things that they cannot do, that is a very slippery slope.
Yep.
We need some kind of legislation on judicial immunity.
Yes.
Basically,
they have too wide a berth of discretion, and they have no oversight.
Well, it's not by statute. It's not by constitution. It's not by law in any state. It's by judicial decree that they have absolute immunity. So basically, we have nothing to say about it. I understand the slippery slope of being able to charge them for anything, but there needs to be some kind of reform to the judicial immunity, the absolute immunity.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, and it just goes to show you, again, to go back to that motion that Tim filed, that would have been a perfect opportunity for the judiciary to show that it's all out there. It's in the public eye. We're going to vet these allegations in this motion, but instead they're like, oh, let's just sweep this under the rug over here. Right. All these horrible things. I mean, if that stuff is true, it's very bad, and it should have been vetted. If I were the judge and those allegations were made against me, I'd be like, bring it, let's go through these because I want my name cleared instead of being like, oh, it's moot. She's going on to another session.
I'm just going to excuse myself.
Right. And what else is under that rug that they swept it under?
Exactly. And the future people going before her have a right to know that. The court should have had some kind of curiosity to look into this. Why did they not want to say, let's clear this judge's name for the next person? That's a problem too. Yeah. They're covering something up, in my opinion. It's disgusting.
And that's how she got this way, probably.
Yes.
Crap like this.
Yes, Mary. Yep, exactly.
And that's only what we've seen out on display. Imagine what really happens.
Exactly.
That we don't see.
And the only reason why it even came, probably the issue with Officer January came out, was because she was so emboldened by her position that she felt okay reporting him, and filing a complaint against him, which is like, it's just mind blowing that she would
no
do
fear
that.
of accountability.
No, right? Like,
as if it wasn't enough in the hearing when he was like, and I just wanted to say, and she was like, Officer January, enough. Like,
right?
Yeah.
It's like, what's your problem? Yeah, what are you worried about?
Yeah, like, oh my god.
It all makes sense why she didn't want him to speak now. Now it makes sense now that we know.
Oh yeah.
Well, right, because she already knew what he was going to say because she went to visit him yesterday. And she's like, she didn't want it on the record. It's
That's
like, oh,
right.
They basically said, I don't, what he says doesn't matter. And it's like, anybody that does criminal defense,
hearsay from a probation.
What? Yeah, it's like that. That's insane. The judge
was like, "This is an email."
This was allowed hearsay in that
when
case.
she said,
"Email zero.
This is not evidence." Like
zero weight. Okay. I give it zero weight.
I give it zero weight.
I was shocked. I was so confused.
I was blown away. I still can't even believe it when I think about it. I'm like, that was just, and I really like, as bad as I felt for Kelsey, like listening to her cry, I felt just as bad for Tim because he's like, what just happened in a million years? He never thought he was going to go in and ask the court for a simple modification. Like, oh, where's your doctor's letter? What? Like, probation's here saying they don't have a problem with it. Like, what do you say? And I'm just trying to modify something. And you can always just say, no, I'm not modifying it.
And the prosecution didn't want it. They didn't care either.
Yeah.
They didn't care. Nobody.
When she was like, can we hear from the Commonwealth? And they were like, what?
Okay, yeah. Well, we just feel like it's important that she still get tested, like, or whatever. And like, okay, she was wanting someone to like support her, and then what got her was when Tim said it's basically tantamount to torture for what now she found it.
I mean, it's like a middle school student who has detention on like a Wednesday, and he goes into school in the morning, and he's like, just so you know, I have a very serious appointment after school, and I have a doctor's note, okay, and I have to go to a doctor today. Can I do my detention like on Thursday? Except the principal then says, you're now suspended or expelled.
Yeah.
Get out.
It wasn't even that. It was like if the kid asked, like, can my doctor come into detention because I have this important doctor's appointment, and nothing about me actually serving detention is going to change at all. I'm not even asking for it on Thursday. I'm just asking my doctor come here. Like, she was not asking for anything to change except for the means of how she was giving the information to the court.
And she was in compliance too.
Yeah.
She didn't fail anything. She did the tests.
Yeah. Not to mention the fact that at that point she was only charged with assault with a dangerous weapon.
Yeah.
And it's like most of the people that get bail for that are just released on PR, you know? It's like, what? And
let alone a police officer with a clean record.
Anyway. So even those bail conditions are suspicious to me. Like, there was something, I don't know for a fact, but I mean, the fact that like when Tim filed the motion, they were like, nope, we're not going to look at this. And then like, move on. There's something wasn't right. Something wasn't right. And it's like, it can't be undone now, which is so sad,
And she mentioned in that hearing, she wanted to keep Officer Noonan safe. Now we got to trial, and what did Officer Noonan say? Oh, that she was going through him to get to Justin. So even Officer Noonan, in his deranged mind or whatever, was thinking she wasn't trying to hurt him. She was trying to go down there. So things
even though
are
he
not
didn't even know
up.
he was in the house.
That also seems like it just came out of his mouth by accident in the trial.
Yeah, his logic immediately
we were all like
9 ways.
I think you could hear a gasp.
Oh, I will never forget that moment.
Around the world.
I gasped.
There's no doubt in my mind that they probably believe some of the stuff they say now. I don't know whether you read the article I wrote on neural plasticity and how what you think about changes what you believe.
Yeah.
And it changes every time you recall a memory. A memory is a different memory. And I'm not so
Did
sure.
you study Jen McCabe for that article?
She would be a great case study.
I do think we do see it a lot on X. And I will call out one person that I think fits the mold perfectly. And that's Kate Peters. She has reprogrammed her brain. When you follow down a certain track, you lay down myelin, and you always divert to that track. In addiction, a person who is addicted always falls back to the 4-lane highway in their brain. You can send them to rehab. What happens in rehab? They try to teach them better ways to cope with stress and how to handle it. Well, it's kind of like taking a curvy country road. Over time, if you practice it enough, it becomes a little straighter. It might even become 2-lane. But you throw stress upon them, and they immediately divert back to the 4-lane highway because that's the track that they've laid down in their brain. And it takes a long time for an addict to completely reprogram from that track. So that's why they relapse. And I have a pet peeve that the court system completely handles addicts the wrong way because they don't recognize that. When you lock them up or you send them to AA, you send them to an organization or to a place where they refine the tools of their trade.
Mm-hmm.
And they can. I know addicts can walk into any AA meeting in any state, anywhere, and walk out and know exactly where they need to walk across the street to get the drugs. And it's a difficult thing to handle, and we don't have the resources to handle it. But that same mentality that occurs with addiction occurs, I think, with police officers who keep telling themselves the same story. When Jen and all of them got together, Miss Roberts, and they kept rehearsing their program, what they remember, they're basically laying down those neural tracks. And they actually, at times, probably reach a point that they actually believe what they're saying actually occurred that night. That's why you're supposed to get your statements immediately that night when the incident happened. It's because you wait 3 months, you're not getting what actually happened that night. You're getting what they have remembered and recalled. And memory works by, you remember bits and pieces are filed away. I remember, you see a car accident. I remember a red car. I remember a sound of bang. I remember ambulance come. You're asked to recall what you saw. They pull those fragments together. Then your other side of your brain then creates a story that is most likely to occur. And it changes every time you tell the story. So
if you convince yourself that you're in shock and horror, then you actually believe that you're in shock and horror.
And it's true. That's true. Like
yes.
for investigators who actually want to get to the bottom of what happened, it's not just to protect against like witnesses who are actually should have been suspects making up their own stories, but it's also just to protect against the regular thing that you're describing that happens if you need to know what color the car was that was driving away because that's your only lead in this investigation. You need to get to each witness right now before that color changes in their mind and they're remembering a different
that day.
Yeah,
and it should have been deposed on record, video recorded conversations.
What's that? Norfolk County.
What?
Well,
no,
timeline.
Handover is getting body cam.
Yeah. To Emily's point, that it's the single most important thing. And so for them to have not done that in Karen's case, for them to have waited almost a week in Kelsey's case, it's despicable. It's not acceptable. And they didn't really care. They had time to talk to each other, to hear each other's stories, which, as KY Maverick is saying, taints your memory. That's the whole point of it. It's
the literal thing you're not supposed to do with witnesses. And Mr. Maverick, sir, I could listen to you talk forever.
I was thinking the same
we
thing.
need to get
it's
you
like,
that long. Because
It's for our own selfish reasons.
Yeah.
Oh my.
So that you can start your next career reading audiobooks to us.
For real. For real. And you are welcome now.
You haven't heard me read, have you?
Drawing all this, though, back to Kelsey's civil case, because of all this. So, I mean, think of the domino effect that happened just in the afternoon of September 11th. Kelsey was then placed in a position where, you know, she's not receiving the health care that was critical for her at that time. I mean, the whole reason behind her filing that motion was so that it would be more possible for her to have surgeries that she needed, you know, not hurt her lungs and, you know, maybe stint her healing of her ribs, right? So all the things she was asking got taken like 5 steps back. And then on top of that, she is a law enforcement officer and a former CEO who now is being placed in a jail. That is never a position that you want to be in. It makes you a target. And so, you know, she was set back in that regard. She was set back in the family court stuff. And now we can also show that because those ex parte communications were withheld, and, you know, the rest of the stuff that Mr. Bradel brought up in that filing, in that motion to recuse, it led to possibly the SJC making a decision uninformed. I believe that Bradel had all the information at the time that he went to the SJC. They may have had a different answer for him. They may have found that Judge McCarthy acted out of step, and it would have released Kelsey, or it would have led to Kelsey being released sooner, because they probably would have reversed her decision, right? So
Yeah.
she can now show that all of this stuff, the way that she was treated, not to mention, this happens all the time. Pre-trial detainees are way more likely to plea out because they're away from their children. They're away from their job. A lot of them are not, they don't have enough in savings to pay their bills. So a lot of them don't have a place to live when they get out of jail. The longer you sit in there, the worse of a position you're going to be in when you step back out into the world. So, that turns into a lot of guilty pleas.
The problem is,
because if they don't plead, it will be a whole episode.
Yeah, you don't want an episode.
But the problem is her civil case will not
be
be
looking for here, though. They just like in Karen Reed, the same thing. They wanted the same thing with Karen Reed, and they wanted this with Kelsey too. And you're 100% correct, Britt. Not too many people being separated from their child, being in the physical state that Kelsey was after being shot, can get through mentally and physically what Kelsey got through. And not be like, okay, I'm ready to take a plea on this. Just not because you feel like you're guilty, but because you want to get the hell out, And remember that, and I think I saw this on the interview where Tim was on with Caidyn and Kelsey, where they were informed before the trial started or during the trial that even if Kelsey was found guilty, the state was not going to seek jail time. And that is just absurd.
What are we doing here?
Yeah, so all for nothing.
I suspect the reason that both Karen Reed and Kelsey was initially overcharged or attempted to be overcharged in the grand jury is for the sole purpose of forcing a plea.
Yeah, 100%.
I agree. I think DAs are supposed to be ethical and charge what they can prove. But I can guarantee you they're always overcharging. And it's the fourth plea.
Look at Karen Reed. Yanetti's fees for defending her doubled when her charges went from manslaughter to murder too. They doubled just with Yanetti. I don't think Jackson had been brought in quite yet. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's meant to break them down. I mean, and it's like, honestly, that's why, I mean, and I don't have any direct information, but it does seem kind of funny to me. It's like that Kelsey got locked back up that day. And I'm telling you, I'm not ashamed of myself to say I probably would have been like, okay, give me the freaking plea. Like, whatever, what am I getting? 6 months probation? I mean, like, because nobody, like, who wants to be locked up like that? But she always knew she was not guilty. I remember having conversations, with some people on the team and whatnot early on. And it was like, there's no way. And not just her team, but even her family. Kelsey's not taking a plea. Kelsey,
absolutely not.
She was so 100% sure of herself and her position that she knew she wasn't going to do it. She was strong enough to be like, I'm going to fucking get through this if I have to. And
thank God.
I'm like, but like many, many, many people would have just tried, whatever, because she could have negotiated with the state and maybe even pleaded to a misdemeanor or something like that. Because it was what she ended up being charged with was pretty close to a misdemeanor by the end of all of that. To begin with, it was an entry level felony, a superior court case. So they could have maybe even negotiated down, but she was very firm that no way she was taking a plea. That's how firm she was with her belief of her innocence.
And it can't be said enough, the support that Courtney Healy gave her in jail. If it wasn't for her, things could have been very different. FaceTiming her every night, being there. She was always a rock for Caidyn when he was incarcerated as well. That's why Tim and his team are such a vital force and worth every single penny. And that's one of the reasons we're here, to keep him on the case for her going forward. They're just such a vital force, both of them. They really are a team, and enough cannot be said about them.
Well, and Mr. Page mentioned too that had she pled out, it would have hurt her position probably in family court. And then furthermore, she could probably kiss her civil case goodbye because
Oh,
she
100%.
she would not
That's
look
right.
good
Yeah.
having pled out for that
Yeah.
in
Right.
suing the town, suing the state, whoever. So
And you know what, though? The thing with her civil case, she would have definitely thrown all of that out the window because that she doesn't care about that. But the first part, the issue with the family court, that is all she cared about. That was like her always. That was more important to her than the criminal thing. She knew she wanted to get to the point of being able to be reunified with her son and have physical custody of her son, and having any of those those gun related charges would have been difficult for her. So that was always her main focus. 100%. She endured all that time in jail. She endured all of it for her son. Is basically the reason why all of it happened to begin with. So I mean, the woman is like, I can't wait she's going to write a book and it's going to be freaking fabulous.
She's incredible, man.
Can't wait to read it.
Just incredible.
Seriously. Even her writings now, if anybody doesn't subscribe to her Substack,
yes,
definitely do. And if you're friends with me on X, I think I still have a few more, because they give you when you subscribe, they give you a few more a few like free ones to give out for a month. And I believe I have like 3. I think I gave one to Joe to KY. But like if you send me your email on in a message on X, then I'll send you a free month for the Substack, and you won't regret it.
And in my
just
opinion,
have tissues ready.
Yeah,
if you do read her poetry.
Oh yeah, definitely.
This is also just, we're able to see her growth and just even how stronger she has gotten from this incident, and her being vulnerable to share this with everyone. That takes a lot of guts and a lot of courage, and it is helping people. I have absolutely no doubt it is helping other mothers who went through this. We had Mary being courageous to share her story today because of Kelsey and all of that. It is fantastic, and it's awesome to witness, and Kelsey could not be any more of a strong badass bitch. So
yeah,
absolutely,
seriously,
I love it.
$64 away from $2,000 raised tonight. That's incredible.
Woo!
That's a great night right there.
All right,
we're
come on, guys.
Close. We're closing
$64, and I promise I'll never tell the cow story again.
Yes. Donate $64 so I never.
If you liked the cow story, donate. If you hated the cow story, donate. If you laughed at the cow story, donate.
I have a question about the cow story.
Oh no! If we can get $64 in like right now,
recording of when you first told the story, because I want to see how much has changed.
Of when do I have a video recording? No, I mean this is the first.
I'd pay to see that
storytelling. This is the first, but I will say the story really hasn't changed. And in fact, if my friend came on and told the story, there would be many more embellishments. I kept it. I kept it as clean as I could. Sorry.
I'll call you
I
later,
don't
Lori.
think you have to. I don't think you have to embellish that one much.
It would be like the dating game with the cow story, where like one of you tells different parts match.
My friends and I, a lot of my very good friends are family law attorneys, and we have talked about this one particular friend. She would love to do like a podcast together, and like, my gosh, some of the things that we could. Yeah, right. I know, right?
You guys, $54 and they'll do
all
it.
for it.
$54.
Come on, that's easy work.
Yeah.
Dude, that would be awesome, Lori.
Yeah,
I know.
That would be so cool.
Yeah, definitely have considered it. It's funny because the first firm that I worked for, I used to do civil litigation. I wasn't a family law attorney for like the first few years, and I worked for this firm. And because I was the low person on the totem pole, they did this radio show. It was on 1480 WSAR in Fall River. And they appointed me as the radio person, and that is where I started my career. That is like now evolved into this and doing these Mazza fundraisers. But it's so bad. But I actually found the other day, I was going through some stuff, boxes, and I actually found like a videotape of one of the demo shows that I had done. And no, not a videotape. It was a cassette. And I don't have anything to play it on, but I'm like almost scared. But like, I don't
her a
have
VCR. Hurry.
A cassette player of like
tape. Yeah.
I can't even imagine.
You can go to the library.
Yeah.
You can rent one.
You're
you
gonna
can,
get like
borrow one at
5
the
of them
library.
mailed to your house or
Well,
or
like,
somewhere.
the other attorneys in the firm, because they knew, I mean, like, it wasn't like I was given the assignment because I was special. It was like, you have to go do this because you're the last one and none of us want to do it, you know? So it was like, okay, fine. Now I'm doing this radio show. And they would call up the other attorneys that I work with, they would call up and ask me the craziest questions. Like, and I knew it was them, but like I couldn't, you know, I'm on live on air and I'm just like, oh my God, I'm gonna
That's
get
awesome.
you tomorrow. Like with
I
this
would do
one.
that.
Like,
You know, you talk about all these shows.
so funny. Like, luckily, there probably were like 12 people listening all together. So,
How many here watched the sheriff that had that show out of Southern Indiana and Clark County where they would always lock people up in the jail so you can see how they experienced jail life and things? You all realize where he is today, don't you? He's locked up for a long time in prison.
For what?
Why?
Oh, misuse of funds and a lot of other things that he did at the jail, and what his deputies and things used to do for him and things. I don't know the whole story, but I'm sure y'all seen the show on TV. It ran for a few
Scared
seasons.
Straight?
I think I did.
Yeah, Scared Straight.
Oh, I saw that way back. Yeah, I saw the '90s version of it, but I think there was like a earlier version. I saw a late '90s version of it.
Well, he's experiencing it for real now.
Oh wow!
He didn't get scared straight.
Irony.
Scared Straight was great because they're like, I've been locked up here for 20 years. You guys think walking around your high school and giving your parents a hard time and giving your teachers a hard time makes you tough? You think, oh, what? You got a detention this week because you threw a pencil at the erase board? You think that you're tough? You think you're going to last in here with me? How are you going to feel when it's lunchtime and I walk up to you and I take all your food?
you're scaring me, Mazza.
Prison Mazza. Get him a
I'm
purple
assuming
Band-Aid.
Emily's too young to have had the bracers that you had to bang together and to get the chalk out of them.
Yeah.
Chalkboards.
Erasers?
Yeah, I mean, y'all probably use markers on boards now.
Yeah, no,
You don't know. You
I'm
don't know
familiar with
what
that.
the
I used to
braces are, do you?
beg for that job. I was like, I want to be the eraser clapper lady this week.
You got out of class for a half hour. to
Yeah,
go
no
clean your
kidding, right?
bracer.
Oh my gosh! I'm anybody that was just tuning in, Mazza, that hadn't been on and was listening to that, you scared them away. I'm just letting you know.
That's
You
okay.
No
Yeah,
more
that's
right.
Prison
Very
Mazza. We like Prison Mazza.
Mazza scared them all straight right off the screen.
I remember watching that. That was so funny. I think it was MTV or something that had that. And that was a funny episode. It was just, the way they were trying to
I was
intimidate those
in
kids
jail
was hilarious.
When we, not the show, but like they had a program and they'd
Yeah.
bring kids through. And I was
Yeah.
an inmate, a real one. And we had to like act crazy. We weren't, but we had to act like we were.
Wait, they told you to like put on like
Yes.
actually freak the kids out? That's so
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I thought they were just
Yeah, they're like,
like
"Spare these
that."
kids.
Emily's like, wait a second.
Emily, you would love it. You'd be so good at it.
If you
They'd be
act
like 1, 2,
crazy
3,
in
all eyes
cell,
on me.
you don't stay in the cell.
So do we know?
They
Do we know
have-
who's going to the hearing on Tuesday? Is anybody? Is Michael Bryant covering it? Who's?
They said maybe. I'm really hoping.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
I'm going to
you know,
Matthew
I know
Farwell's hearing on Tuesday.
we still need to. I know that there's been a lot of controversy back and forth about whether we should still be covering this and whatnot. And like, yeah, we don't need to be getting involved in like maybe personal details about things, but some of these are public filings and they're going off on X anyway, whether we're covering it or not.
Right.
They're getting into somebody else's hands. And I think it's important for us to, as you know, the honest arbiters of what's going on here, to be out here and presenting Kelsey's
Sure.
point of view. But
I
I
also
mean,
need support rolling in for her.
it's important. And like,
Yeah.
yes, exactly. We still need to keep the attention on the case. If the attention leaves the case, it's not a good thing for Kelsey. I mean, like,
Yeah.
we need to keep the pressure on. So does that mean we should be like, you know, reporting every little detail of visits and things like that? Of course not. No, we don't need to be getting involved in what's going on personally behind the scenes. And I don't think any of us has been doing that. But to report things that does everybody need to show up to court? No, but I think it still should continue to be covered.
And
so
it is public.
Right. And people do have the right to know because they've supported and they have a vested interest in what's going on here. And they want to see how this is progressing. And, you can do that without being super invasive about it.
Right.
And I don't personally think there's anything wrong with it. I know, like, I've gotten attacked online for continuing coverage. And I mean, I'm not providing personal details, but I mean, like, if there's pleadings, I'm going to cover them. I'm going to show them. I'm going to explain them. If people ask me questions about them, I'm going to answer those questions. Those are things that are definitely, findable online. You can get them. They're on mass courts. They can pull them up. They're being posted, whether we don't have that much control over that. So why wouldn't we continue, to have our discussion about that. So I was just curious about anybody going, because I know, Emily, you're going to be in on the Matthew Farwell. It just seems like Sandra Birchmore's cases always seem to kind of be on the same date, right?
I know, it was the same day last time too.
Right.
Literally the exact same day last time.
Totally different courts. Federal, you're going to federal court,
Coincidence?
which is so important too. The Sandra Birchmore case, but so I just don't know if there's going to be not necessarily people there supporting Kelsey, because it is difficult because it's family court. There's a bunch of people there. It's not just Kelsey's case. It's everybody's case is on that day. But like in terms of the coverage for Kelsey's case, law girls will probably be there though.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Are you going to go, law girls? I know she said that they're not going to be able. Michael Bryant is not going to be able to make it. He let them know.
Okay.
So
all right.
What is it? What town is this in now again?
This is in Lawrence.
Lawrence. No, wait, is it?
What?
Lawrence or Essex? Case? Yeah.
Is in Lawrence. It's where we were for the it's not the same building. They're in a different building for the probate and family court cases. But yes, now it's been moved back to Lawrence. It was in Salem.
So Law Girls is going to be there. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, they'll be streaming it.
Thank you.
I'm interested in seeing what Judge Ulwick is like what, her demeanor, how she is behind the bench, what kind of approach she takes with things.
Certainly.
I did listen to the 209A recording. I had ordered that FTR recording. So I heard the 209A, and she was as thorough as she should be, as what I'm used to. I know other people might say she didn't ask this, so she didn't ask that. I mean, it's like in the scheme of it, she did what she was supposed to do. She did get the query and that, and she did ask the appropriate questions. And her demeanor was fine. I mean, that was just like a one-party ex parte hearing. But then other things I've heard about her, she is a thoughtful judge. She's
Thank God.
She's a judge that listens. So I'm hopeful, that it'll all. And that doesn't necessarily mean everything needs to go Kelsey's way. I'm just hopeful that it's a fair progression into where we need to go the next step with this. And everybody agrees, maybe not all the people online, but everybody within the case agrees that we are working towards a reunification. Whoop, whoop, come on.
Woo!
Yes, that's awesome.
Yay!
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. That's awesome.
Beautiful. Thank you, everyone.
How long?
That's unbelievable. Thank you guys so much.
Going back to what you were saying about Kelsey's ask about the public, if I had to guess, I feel like the behind, read between the lines was kind of like, if you're going to keep following her case, and this is kind of a message for all of us, like, don't say or do anything that the other party can use against her in filings. Like, don't go to court and make a scene where then he can write down and she has all these crazy people outside that are X, Y, and Z, whatever.
Yes.
And who are following us around in public. I think it was
common sense. Common sense, people.
Sometimes it's not
sense
so common.
investigator. She's right here.
And I'm not
She's
saying
like
it's any
our-
of you guys, but or like anybody in the chat right now, but just for
Yeah,
us to be aware of, like, sometimes you follow something and you feel so close to it and you feel so emotionally invested, and like Kelsey's story like really like tugs at your heartstrings, and you can put yourself in her shoes and you can imagine what it's like to be like longing for your baby. But it is important to remember, like, this is Kelsey's real life, and this is something that we're not a party to this story, and we don't want to do anything where we're inserting ourselves in a way that ends up hurting her.
Right.
It's a way different beast than criminal court, like we were with Karen Reed. It's totally different. Family courts do not appreciate fanfare like that, and you know, and then also, like, at the end of the day,
100%.
we want her baby to have two good parents, right? And so
100%, Mary. Yep.
regardless of, you know, the other parent, we want best interest of the child, and so does Kelsey, and so does her attorney, and that's what they're fighting for. So we can continue to report on it, but in a positive way that always keeps that focus on the child. Regardless, the court is not going to consider a lot of the stuff we know. That's just the facts. But we want, above all things, for the baby to have two good parents. And I had to learn to start praying for the other parent in my case, because I had to realize, like, no, I don't want him to fail. I don't want something to happen to him that lets me win, because that's her father, right? So it's the same way. We can totally keep reporting on it, but do it in a respectful way.
Exactly. And, you know,
100%.
the details of the negotiations is not what's important here.
No.
What's important in covering the story is it keeps a light on the corruption within the system. And
exactly. That's 100% correct. This isn't about us attacking Justin. This is about us keeping eyes on the case to keep the process fair. That's what this is really about at this point. And like I said, all those other things that were in affidavits and that were filed previously, they don't matter anymore, you know. And if you look at even Julie's filing for this coming hearing, that was one of the issues with this whole social media, and in a footnote she put, Justin was saying, like, you know, that she, you know, whatever, she still continues to bash him and blah, 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 whatever. And he's not doing, it's like, well, there's been plenty of bashing in both directions. But we all need to kind of move forward from that to reunification. However, the one thing Kelsey can't do is control what third parties are doing. She has no control over that. So you can't blame her for something someone posted, that some idea they came up with, or something that they took out of a pleading that his attorney had filed a while back, or that her attorney filed a while back. Those things are all public records. That's not Kelsey's fault that that's still being put out there. Those things were there, and they're out there in the public realm. So that was one of the reasons why she didn't want to do the order the last time and put that in there, because basically his attorneys were kind of saying, you also need to stop third parties from being able to say things. How can anybody do that?
You can't. Yeah. And this goes back to exactly what Jen McCabe was trying to do. Can you get him to stop blogging about me?
Yes.
No, you can't. It's called First Amendment rights.
Yeah.
So that will never be acceptable. And
that's a good comparison, Lauren.
And Aiden would be in a lot of trouble for what his followers have done, you know, or you know, things that people have complained about his followers doing. So he would be held responsible if that were the case.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And so, you know, again, be responsible for yourself, be responsible, be respectful. I think it's a good idea to follow what Miss Hess is doing. If she's not up in arms about something, maybe you don't need to be up in arms about it. Go there, be respectful, have proper court decorum if you go, and just be supportive. But it is public, and you will never not be able to cover something public. Everyone kind of has a right to it. And if they're upset about it, I mean, they're going to have to live with it, just like Jen McCabe had to live with it. Their people are going to talk. And if you didn't want to do that, you probably shouldn't have acted dirty. So, I mean, you know, I don't know what to tell you, buddy.
Your actions too.
Right. Yeah.
And guys, for, you know, driving to court, putting up a camera, getting the permissions that you need, that is not free. So if you can support channels like Law Girls Not Attorneys and Justice Served for, showing up and making all this available to the rest of us, please just look those channels up and help them out so that they can continue to do that, and not just for this case, but also for others in the future.
Yes, they've gone and covered Kelsey's cases many times when there was no other people covering it, and also other cases. So we very much appreciate them.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And thank you, Emily, for doing Sandra Birchmore too.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm definitely going to be looking at what you have to say about that hearing when you're there on Tuesday as well. Another atrocious case,
If anyone didn't see Emily's stream after she went to the last hearing, it's a must watch, and
Mhm.
I'm sure she'll have another one from inside the courtroom in her eyes and ears. So be
I'm gonna
watching
try to
for that
write
one.
neater. I was writing so fast because I was trying to write everything down, because you can't bring your computer, you can't bring your phone.
Mhm.
And they didn't have it. Like, they had a couple reporters there who literally just said, like, there was a hearing today, and that was it. So it was like there was nowhere else I could like figure out what. So I was trying to write down literally every word that came out of their mouths, and by the end I was going through my notes and I was like, I literally don't know what this word says. I'm trying to figure out how to write neater this time.
Well, your stream was
I
awesome.
can't
last
imagine
time.
you not writing neatly.
Well, it was also driving me crazy. It was like,
You're like, I made this
like, my
mess.
handwriting-
Code anything. Yeah.
I threw the pages out. I ripped them all out of my notebook and threw them away because it was actually making me so annoyed.
You're so
to, like, see
disgusted with
notes.
yourself.
Yes.
I
yeah,
need to
it's
bow
fun
out
to
for
go-
the night.
Good night,
So
Brett.
I appreciate all of you
We all-
for, taking the time, taking, the money to donate, for doing anything that you did to support Kelsey. Mazza, thank you for once again hosting a great fundraiser and for having me. And I will
Thank you so much.
I'll see all y'all very soon.
Good night, Britt.
Bye,
Take
Brett.
Thank you so much for it happens, ladies and gentlemen. What a great night, huh? This is unbelievable.
Such a good night.
$2,000
Yes.
raised. Another $25 just came in, so it's $2,031 right now. Amazing.
That's
That's going to
awesome.
be. I mean,
Wow.
You guys are amazing.
Yeah,
Yes.
at this
Thank
point,
you, everyone.
I'm just so grateful for everyone that still cares and that's still here and that is so invested in Kelsey. And as you read earlier, Mazza, Kelsey's so
Yeah.
appreciative. It's just thank you so much to everybody. It's a great family. I've become so close to them. I just love them all so much. So thank you, everybody, for continuing to support Kelsey. And she's doing great. Everybody's doing great, and it's just going to get better and better and better.
Yes, that's right.
Yes.
unbelievable night. So, anybody have any final thoughts? We're going to wrap up soon. KY, did you want to have something?
I learned that I'm the least intelligent of all the guests tonight.
no
I
way.
look over into the comments, and they can talk on here and still comment. That's a little bit difficult
I
for
don't
me.
think that's a sign of intelligence. I think that's a sign I'm chronically online.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
I'm constantly
Yeah.
impressed by that, KY. Constantly. They're
Yes,
they're
yeah.
incredible.
Untreated ADHD.
Yeah.
I'm just always making sure no one's talking about me. So I'm like, okay. Like,
Yeah.
okay,
I
I'll
sit here all
address
night.
this
I'm
now.
listening.
I'll
I'm
address this
thinking.
now.
Yeah. Me, I'm multitasking the whole show. I'm over here. I'm listening to everything everybody's
Oh,
saying.
yes.
I'm thinking. I'm looking at the chat. I'm checking the queue. I'm going into my.
You're
Google
steering us
spreadsheet.
straight.
Yeah, calculating the total. I'm like doing the math, like how far away from me from the next goal. Let's set a goal in the chat, and I'm always
You're
like kind of
amazing,
thinking,
Mazza.
yeah, it's amazing.
It's
That's why
unbelievable,
you're
Mazza.
amazing, Mazza.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank
Really,
you.
yes,
What a
it
night.
really is amazing.
Yeah.
The counselor got his full attention.
Yeah, what an amazing.
You might
night.
need that on some merch, Mazza. I heard you were
Seriously,
getting possibly
amazing.
I'm working
and
on
amazing.
Hot
I
Grill
think
Summer.
you should.
Yeah, Hot Girl Summer. Yeah, amazing. I
forget
got a
Hot Girl
MazzaManiac
Summer.
shirt. I got a
Yeah,
MazzaManiac shirt.
shirt.
Yeah, the problem is the color scheme. I'm trying to get the shirt color, the logo color to match that exact color red, but it's almost like an orangish red. So I'm sitting there tweaking it for like an hour the other night. And I'm like, I can't get the color to match. So I'm trying to find the exact color red that is. And I think that's custom. I made that logo in 2014.
Mazza, give me 7 seconds and I'll get you that.
Yeah, I was gonna
Are you
say
kidding me?
Emily
Okay.
can
Yeah.
wham bam to be up there.
Yeah,
You
give
never
me
know
7
unless you
seconds. And I'll
order
figure
it.
it out. Yeah. You give us, let's say,
Yeah.
a movie reference. I got a movie reference for that. You give us 7 seconds, so we'll give you the world. It's a,
What is that?
RoboCop.
know
It's the
that one.
newsreel at the beginning of the movie. Yeah, they're like, whatever that news network was at the beginning. Like, you give us 15 seconds, and we'll give you the world. That was the news station's slogan in that movie.
Oh my gosh, you're such
Yay,
a
a
memory
movie
for that kind of stuff. I
reference.
barely remember the names of
Yeah, yeah.
movies or anything.
Yeah, Glare would have got that reference, but he's
Yeah,
not
you
here.
would.
He's not Phil.
Yeah, hopefully he feels better. He did sound really congested.
I
He
know.
didn't
Yeah.
sound, and he seemed like that kind of sick where it's like it hit you all of a sudden because like at first he seemed okay, and then it was like you just saw him fading.
Yeah, maybe
he's
his
kinda
pills
sick
were wearing off.
I'll be around
It's like
right now.
allergies
Yeah.
are really bad right now too. So
Yes.
there's that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
It's so
that's funny.
bad. The air is trying to kill me right now. The pollen.
It's been bad.
Oh yeah, it got me the other day. I was like, you ever have the pollen hit you in a way where all of a sudden your head gets really sore and all of a sudden your vision starts to kind of tweak a little bit,
Yes.
like you can't almost partially like say like 5% blind. That happened to me after a workout a week ago.
Wow.
I was
Well,
literally
it's
on my
not-
Scary.
You're
Yeah.
my specialty now, so let me ask
Yeah.
you: was it a wavery type of aura that just kind of expanded and disappeared into the side, lasted about 5 to 15 minutes?
all I know is I had trouble reading my phone. That was like I was sitting there trying to read something and I just kept losing my place. I'm like, it's just I guess the pollen when it gets inside you and affects you, a red E12.
It's almost a migraine type symptom.
And
Yeah.
or a migraine.
With the
I
blood
get
vessels.
those.
Yep.
I
It
get those
causes-
all
That's
the
what I
time.
get.
stress.
Yeah.
I get those all the time.
Yeah.
I didn't
That's
know what
the
they were
first thing
until
that goes is my vision if I get a
Mhm.
migraine.
yes.
Yeah. Oh,
Well,
I
it's
hate it.
ophthalmic migraines have no headache. All
I
you
don't
have
get-
is
Yes.
the visual disturbance.
Those are mine.
Yep.
Yep.
Mhm.
We get another $50 donation that just came in from Tracy. Thank you, Tracy.
Thanks,
Oh,
Tracy.
man.
Right.
That's
For
awesome.
the
Mazza,
whole
I-
time. Thank you.
Mazza, I feel like you should extend the time for people who are having to start late because I feel like
Oh, I
there's
do.
a lot of time. Okay. 'Cause
Yeah,
I
yeah.
want
So
you
what
to
I
be
do
able to
is
get
what I do is we hit the 191,000, by the way. We just hit it, $50.
Wow.
So
Awesome.
what I usually do is I leave it open for about 30 to 40 minutes, then I check it later in the night and see if anybody I do like 30 minutes of grace time, and then after like later in that I'll check for ones and I'll only count ones that specifically say Mazza after
Mazza.
that. So basically
Yeah.
between the hours it's like open, it's like whatever comes in we're counting no matter what. And then I give it about 30 minutes and I do a final count, and then I'll check it later tonight and then maybe even the next day for just like again Mazza ones that say specifically Mazza. And there was one from $25 from yesterday that said Mazza Fundraiser specifically. So I said, I'm just going to count that person's total
Yeah.
because
Well, why
Okay,
wouldn't
good.
you? I mean,
Yeah.
could you be
That's a
any
go-getter right
more
there.
obvious that you want that?
Yeah, right.
And the thing is, as much money as we've raised on this show, a lot of times those counts are not full because there's always people that might come in like say like 4
Yeah.
hours later and they don't write Mazza at all. And we never know. So it happens. And there's other people who write Mazza and I may have never counted it. So it's like there's always that.
I
there's
feel
that
like
happy
you
medium.
haven't made that clear enough because this is the first time I'm hearing this. I feel like
Yeah,
you should have said that
I
in every
did.
show.
I
Like,
did
when
put
you
start
Mazza,
the
but I
show
didn't
every-
know we should. I did.
Yeah,
though.
You-
like
you
when
don't have
start the
to.
show,
Yeah.
every fundraiser
Yes, we
when
do.
you start, you should say like, if you're watching this on replay, make sure you write Mazza in the donation so
Yeah.
that we
Right,
count
right,
it.
right. That's a good
Yeah,
Right.
maybe we'll get people in the habit of it because I want you to be
Yeah.
able to count every bit of
Right.
everything.
I mean,
Every
Mazza,
time.
you and Lauren, and I mean, you've been since the beginning. You're so responsible for so much of the fundraiser,
Thank you.
regardless of whether it's actually happening during the shows. It's just about, getting the word out and the recognition, and people have enjoyed watching you guys on the shows and doing the things that you're doing, and everybody who has platforms, it's been great. I mean, really, I'm so grateful to all of you for caring so much to keep
Yeah.
doing this.
Absolutely. And
I
Lori,
did harass Mazza into doing
She
this.
did. She said to me, she goes, "When's the next fundraiser?" It's like I'm noticing like it's been almost a
I know.
month and
It's
you
like,
haven't. What are you doing? I'm like,
Like,
"Oh, you're right.
I'll
Yeah,
even
you're right."
show my hair. Like I was like,
It looks fantastic, Lori.
actually
I
supposed
did
to be-
notice.
Yeah.
thank you.
It was actually supposed to be last Sunday. So I was in the middle of one of my shows and I said, I'm going to do the Kelsey fundraiser next week. And someone goes, Mazza. And I go, yes. And they go, that's the Turtle Boy fundraiser day. And I'm like, oh, you're right. I said, that's right. I'm like, I'm actually on that. But you know what's funny? Was when Aiden asked me to go on this show, it was like 4 weeks in advance. And for some reason in my head, I was thinking like June. And I just, and all of a sudden it's like, it was here. It was like, wait, it's like in 5 days. that was
I
unbelievable.
watched you play that out in real time, and it was so funny. Literally watching your brain be like, "Wait, was this?" But he asked me a little while ago. But it was a far way away. But now we're here.
But it's only
it used to be a long time ago. You were like, it was like watching a child like finally understand the concept of time. You were like, he asked me a while ago, and then time passed, and now we're here.
Right. Oh my goodness, it was so funny
how that happens.
It went so quick. It's like the past couple of weeks, like even when I look back at the Kelsey trial, it's like I just literally feel like I was standing outside.
I know.
Among everybody in the media. I was like, Christina Rex from WBZ was literally to my left during the press conference. And it's like, all of a sudden, that's like a couple of weeks ago. And Michael Bryant asked the best questions that you can possibly imagine when it comes to the media press conference. I mean, other people ask great questions. Don't get me wrong. Michael Bryant has that way of just, he always asks those questions like, man, like every question he asks is like, it's not only clever, it's like perfectly asked. It's like, I love it. So, yeah.
He's great.
He's great.
He is really great. Yeah, that's
make sure you go look. I made a video, and you are allowed to play it, the music, because it's Toy from Rat House, but it has you guys in it. It's just a highlight of the fundraiser on Aiden's.
Oh,
so
that's so cute.
Wait, that's so fun. I can't wait.
Yeah, put that up today.
Nice. I'm going to check that out. Is Rat House on Twitter? I forget if he has a Twitter account.
Under his name.
But he doesn't. He's like he's a Discord guy.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
And then I open Discord and have a panic attack every time. There's like things flying everywhere. And I'm like, nope, never mind.
I don't like it either.
There's 80 different little like.
And there's like emojis popping up everywhere. And then there's like people talking on, I'm like interrupting somebody's phone conversation. I clicked on one day. It was like a live chat where people were just talking. And I was like, what did I just walk into? It was like literally like if you picked up the phone and you could hear your neighbors.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. That's funny.
Weird place.
My goodness. That's awesome. Yeah. Absolutely. I'm going to take a look at this, Emily. I wrote down the color for the Mazza shirt, so I got that all noted down. So I'm going to have to look into
Emily's
that.
the best. Emily didn't.
It literally was 7 seconds.
Like,
yeah, I know it was. It was literally 7 seconds.
I tried something harder first, and then I was like, why don't I just go on Canva and do the color picker? And
Right. Oh, that's awesome.
Emily just went in her Rolodex brain and was like, oh, this one.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm even gonna double check it.
Great stuff, and I'm so thankful too. Like, sorry, I might be a little bit off time here. Sorry, my audio might be off, but yeah, I'm just so thankful for just Kelsey and her family right now. Just that they're kind of starting to. I think Michael Bryant said it on his most recent show. He kind of says, obviously Kelsey's not exactly entirely where she wants to be in the process, but she is in a much better place today than she has been in the past. And really since she's gotten released from jail, almost every week or month has been almost like an entire stage or level better than the month that came before, which is absolutely fantastic. And that's one of my biggest takeaways from all of this is just seeing her in that constant better place. It's like anything in life. You always want to have it's like you always want something now, right? And unfortunately with life, there's always other factors that delay that process. But Kelsey's done a great job managing her mental state to constantly just push past the more difficult times, the moments of impatience, the moments of, say, depression, aggravation, anguish, all that stuff you're going to go through mentally. It's tough. It's
remarkable.
Yeah.
It really
Someone
is.
in my chat told me the other day a quote that was, you make plans and God laughs. And that like really stuck with me because I was like, I'm a big planner. And I feel like when things don't go to plan, it like freaks me out. And we got to go, guys. It's nighttime. It's not even that good.
I know. It's good.
I want to see Emily show up next time with lipstick that matches that Mazda's color.
the exact color.
She will figure it out.
Challenge.
Believe it. She will figure it out.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah,
I'll tell the
and-
freezer
and-
story and I'll
MazzaMedia.
have bright red lipstick.
right. Yeah, and we'll set a fundraising goal, and if we reach that goal, we'll make Mazza put the lipstick on. So
And then
No,
Mazza
no,
can
that's
sell
not
the
happening.
shade in his
That's not
store.
happening.
Mazza's
Oh,
like,
You will
no.
not wear the lipstick.
We
he's
have
like, I've had
plans,
enough of you,
Mazza.
Mullen. I've had enough of you, Mullen, tonight.
No. Lori, you're pushing this.
The other Mary
Right.
Baker is making AI of you. She's real good at that
Yeah.
being editing
Yeah.
stuff.
Lori's
She can
always
just
like
make
embarrassing me. She's like, yeah. That's all good. It's all great. That's a great time. Like I said, I mean, like I always feel like with humor, like, not everything's gonna be my style of humor, but I want to also embrace the people that are on my show, and someone else may find it funny. Even though I'm like one of 5 people, it's probably like the whole story. It's like, but other people find it funny. Like, like Emily. So who still has questions? Emily.
Okay, Mazza.
It's all Emily's
Mazza,
fault.
Mazza, I'll tell the freezer story then because it's just a wholesome story and it will be like
Sure.
your palate cleanser, okay? Because everyone's
Thank you
asking
so
for the
much.
freezer story, and
You will
it
like
really
it.
is just a wholesome
Emily
story.
made me tell the story, by the way. So it's all
That's okay.
Yeah,
That's
this is
okay.
Emily's so sweet. Emily wanted the stories.
That's
No,
funny.
the freezer story
Yeah.
is the opposite of the cow story. So here's the freezer.
Of course
story.
it is.
Do you know there's a popsicle brand called Johnny Pops, and they're
Yeah.
amazing. And my son is obsessed with them. We go through like boxes and boxes of them a week. And one day I was opening the box and there was like a little flyer in it that was like, I forget what their campaign, sticks for kindness or something. I forget what they called it, but it was like something for kindness. And each one of the popsicle sticks then had like a little like kindness phrase on it. And it was like, collect the sticks and you can win a prize. So we started collecting popsicle sticks, and then we were going through like so many popsicle sticks. I was like, oh, we're going to get like the big prize. Like, let me look back at this thing and see what big prize is. So for 1,000 popsicle sticks, you could get a Johnny Pops freezer. And I was like, oh my God, we need to get this freezer. So for the last year and 8 months, we've been collecting popsicle sticks, and I got 1,000 popsicle sticks and I sent them into Johnny Pops. And I didn't look before. I just saw the freezer and I was like, I want to get the freezer. And I didn't look at like the specs of it. So the other day I sent in the popsicle sticks, and then literally like 3 days later, like it was so quick, a like 18-wheeler shows up in my driveway and drops off like the biggest box on shipping crates and just leaves. It's just sitting in my driveway. And I was like, what is that? And I went outside and it was like, your Johnny Pops freezer has arrived. And I was like, oh my God, what?
That's so funny.
So I
You're
own
like-
now a deep freezer, like the one that you like when you go into like the convenience store and it has like 1,000 popsicles in it. I
Yep.
own one of those. However, as I was getting it set up in our kitchen now, I like can't handle any like clutter or anything. So I'm opening up and there's like styrofoam and everything. So I'm like dealing with that before I even like pay attention to the freezer because it was stressing me out. And while I'm doing that, my son was like, oh, I have a new fort now. Like this is my new home and I live in this freezer. So I hadn't plugged it in yet or anything.
Oh my God.
He went into the freezer. He set himself all up. He put like a pillow in there. He brought all his Bluey toys in. He set up his iPad like propped up on the little ledge that like holds the like freezer buckets. He was like, it was actually really good because my dog always tries to eat his pizza, but then when he's in the freezer, Teddy can't get the pizza. So he was eating his pizza in the freezer. So now I can't even plug in this massive deep freezer that I have because Carter basically lives in the freezer now. So it's never going to get plugged in.
I hope DCF isn't listening.
I made sure
Did you hear Emily keeps your kid in the freezer?
Okay, first of all, one of the trolls online already said, oh, Emily got her son a coffin. And I was like, dude, you're so weird. Why are you watching all my shows? And no, so there's a little part at the bottom that you can use to like drain the freezer when you like actually use it as a freezer. That is open. I turned the lock so that it can't close all the way. And I taped little buffers on the side so it literally can't close. And he doesn't want to close it because it's like more fun when it's, so now he like stands in it. He was like jumping in it. He climbs from our like dining room table into and out of the freezer. Yeah. Like the freezer is now the best toy that I've ever gotten in my entire life. Luckily it was free because it would have been a real bummer if I like bought the freezer and then had to be like, actually, no, this is the freezer. Yeah, but I was thinking on like a really, really hot day this summer, like maybe I will plug it in and then you can just hang out.
Yeah, like a video of that.
I feel like you should send that to Johnny
like an igloo.
Oh my gosh.
And send it to the company.
Yes.
Take a video and send it to the company and see what you get.
Somebody from my chat the other day wrote an email to Johnny Pops. This was like the nicest thing that like, it was like one of these moments where it's like, how are we like so lucky to like have this community? They wrote this like entire email to Johnny Pops and CC'd me and like told them about me and Carter and like had like pictures and asked like basically if I could like sponsor them. And it was like, I was reading it and I was like, this is truly the nicest thing that anybody's ever done like for me, about me. And it's just like a nice reminder of how good our people are.
Well, you make people happy
all the time.
That's one of the best parts.
And isn't it fitting?
What a great show.
You got the freezer because of kindness.
Yes.
Yeah. It was called, what was the thing? Kindness is golden or something. I don't know. Also, though, I do have some feedback for Johnny Pops because they have the same like 6 phrases on all the popsicle sticks. So it like stopped being fun. It wasn't like each one you got a new one and you're like, ooh, what's mine going to be today? There were like 6 popsicles in each box and they were the same 6 phrases.
Maybe you can write to them.
You just
of course, Emily figured that out.
So I want to help them. Like I can help.
You could be the writer.
Yes, exactly.
You'd be perfect for that.
Yes.
Yeah, like I would just start making weird things up too. Like once I ran out of ideas, I would be like, tell someone you like their left sock.
Oh, yes. I'm like, now I want popsicles now. I'm like, now I need like, you know.
If you haven't had Johnny Pops ever, I like cannot stress it. So my son's the pickiest eater and he had terrible reflux for like a year. And any like medicine wasn't helping his reflux, Tums, Pepto, nothing. He started eating Johnny Pops and the reflux was gone.
Wow,
and I don't know how, I don't know why. And then my mom got her gallbladder out, actually, which I thought of about the story with the gallbladder earlier. And after she had her gallbladder out, she said the only thing that she wanted to eat was Johnny Pops. So there's something like magical about them.
I don't know. They look amazing. They got watermelon. Yeah.
They're so good.
Firecracker style here, red, white, and blue.
The watermelon one is really good.
It looks fantastic. That's the first thing I noticed. It looks just like a watermelon, like legitimately. It looks like a watermelon.
Well, and they like have different me and Shelby are going to get one.
Yeah, right.
Our Costco just opened.
And get a popsicle. I have to have one now.
Yeah, they're at Costco. I will say the unicorn ones are not as good, and they're like not as fun. They're like less popsicle. So I recommend the regular ones.
I did get a message from somebody about the Substack to send an email for the free Substack. So I still have a few more if anybody thinks about it.
I have 2 also.
Yeah, like just, you know, because I hate to see them go to waste, but like,
yeah,
definitely, because you can access anything she's already posted in the next 30 days and then decide whether you want to keep doing it, you know? So definitely.
Yeah, it's worth it.
I'm sure it was a lot for you, Mary, to read some of those poems and stuff.
Yeah, because it hit me like, it hit me right. And like, but her pain, think of when I heard her like whimper during that, when she threw her back in jail like that, just that sound, like, I get emotional thinking about it. It's like, think of all the horrible things she's going through, the pain, the cruelty, but cloaked over all of it is you are a mother who your child's everything to you, and he's being kept from you. You're being kept from him. And it's like the pain of that is just unimaginable. And then to at the same time be treated with no compassion. I was treated with compassion and I was guilty, like very guilty. And I was treated with like some compassion and being like, we don't want you to not see your kids forever. Like a little bit of like what judges are supposed to do, what family law is supposed to be like, you know what I mean? And even my criminal judges. So like this is a police officer with a great record, with a very accomplished life, who has done everything right, been responsible, and just have everything ripped away from her. But everything matters. Nothing else matters because her child. And I know, like, the first second she got to be with her baby, nothing else mattered.
Yeah.
Thank you
what's so
for
intense
sharing
about
your
this whole
story.
situation. Yeah. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, just thank you. That it gets me emotional, and I just so thank you. That's not easy to talk about.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm so passionate about this, because like Kelsey never deserved any of this, and it's just one thing after another for her. But it's like I said, nothing else, the pain of everything else done to her does not compare to not being able to see your baby, who you should be able to see, who's part of you, you know what I mean? And then to have cruel people trying to like, and I'm not talking about the other party, I'm talking about like, things, circumstances, but just, it's not right. It's not right, and you can't win unless you really have good representation, which is unfortunate, but that's the way it is. And I want her to win. I want her and her baby and the baby's father to have a really bright future all together. Like not together, but you know what I mean? Co-parenting. I want the future to be bright for everybody, but she needs right. She needs help getting balance, getting on the same playing field. You know what I mean? And she won't use it in vain. She'll use it for her baby, for his best interest, as she's already done.
Exactly. Well said.
Absolutely.
That's great words there. And Mary, again, just thank you for sharing that information. That's that's just incredible. And additionally, this is not easy stuff, to go through in life, and this is why we all stand up and fight. And Mary, thank you for again joining this program and joining us in this battle. And also I'm sure that your words are very encouraging to Kelsey as well. That's fantastic stuff. We can't thank you enough, Mary.
Thank you everybody.
Thanks for being here, Mary.
Yes.
All right. So we had
My
Brit
honor.
Happens, we had the Glare. Oh, sorry. Yes, we had Brit Happens, we had the Glare, we had the other Mary B, Lori Mullen, Emily C, KY Maverick, and Common Sense Investigator joining this show tonight. Presently, we raised over $2,081 on the night, which is absolutely fantastic. And again, that's going to really help Kelsey in a big way. We're grateful for that. And I can't thank you guys enough for joining this program tonight, helping out here, participating, giving your thoughts, your reactions, your feelings, and helping just raise enthusiasm and awareness for Kelsey's story as we continue to raise money for her. And we'll work on the next time we're there. But again, Kelsey, like Lori said, we'll be back in court, 2 Appleton Street in Lawrence on Tuesday morning at 8:30 for a review of family court matters. And then, that will be another day in court. And we'll just pray for Kelsey on her continued journey. It's working. The prayers are working. The help is working, folks. We're helping her get there. And, that's all helping out. So
always
everyone enjoy
pray.
your day. Yes, exactly. Praying is huge. Exactly. And, to that point, we just want to once again close out by, again, thanking all of the soldiers that have lost their lives fighting for the United States of America, from every single branch throughout all of history, which has been absolutely incredible. And Memorial Day is a great day to remember what they do. While we enjoy our hot dogs, we're not going to be ashamed of having our hot dogs or burgers or everything like that. But again, remembering our soldiers and those who have served our country is absolutely huge tomorrow. It'll be an honor to honor the fallen soldiers. And I just thank everybody again for joining this program. Kelsey, the best is yet to come for you, and God bless you. And again, thank you to everyone that joined this show tonight, and enjoy the rest of your weekend, everybody. Thank you for joining MazzaMedia.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Mazza.
Mazza.
Love you guys.
Bye.
Night,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Bye.
Well, thank you all.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye-bye. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much. Have a great